Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles. Chapter 1208. Behind Qin Wentian, Huang Shatian realized that he had underestimated Qin Wentian after he sensed the aura of Qin Wentian's bloodline erupting. At this moment, with the aura erupting from Qin Wentian, no one except him could stop Qin Wentian from killing people, not even Huang Wudi. Only he could. His gaze was cold as he stared at Qin who was being protected by so many experts. Her status was extremely high and her talent was also very good. However, she killed his brother Huang Yudi. Hence, among these people, the one who deserved to die the most was none other than this woman. The first target he wanted to kill was none other than Qin. But now, it seemed that if he continued to attack Qin Wentian might kill Huang Wudi. One violent demonic beast after another attacked. Huang Shaishan's aura was completely revealed at this moment, without a trace of concealment. He transformed into a peerless Renhuang. When he stepped out, with him as the center, the entire space fell with the supreme murderous might of Renhuang. Those great demonic beasts that came were all bound and shrouded by the endless spatial rule lines. Even if they were extremely powerful demonic beasts, they couldn't withstand a single blow from him and were crushed into pieces in the endless spatial storm. Mo Xian's expression was ugly. The current Huang Shatian was really too terrifying. He was much stronger than before. In these years, he clearly hadn't wasted his time and had been making great strides towards the celestial king level. At this moment, tyrannical power of metal, sword, space, and other attributes surged from her body, enveloping the space where they were. But Huang Shatian took a step forward and crossed the space. His body stepped into the spatial barrier that she created and directly penetrated it, heading towards the place where Qin was behind her. Rumble. With a loud noise, Cheetah let out a loud roar. The incomparably huge divine ape Midra turned into the battle saint technique and blasted towards the place where Huang Shatian was. He couldn't break through the endless power of space that fell from his opponent. He could only cover the entire space and see if he could affect the power of space. Huang Shaishan's body released the supreme brilliance of space. The terrible Midra seemed to have blasted into the golden brilliance of space and was then crushed into pieces. Huang Shatian ignored everything and continued to move forward, blocking in front of him. Only to see Buyu closing his eyes and not speaking. His palms were pressed together with prayer beads in his palms as he chanted Buddhic chants. A moment later, countless deities and Buddhas appeared as numerous supreme arhats appeared, blocking Buyu's path. Although Buchan and Bujie weren't very reliable, since Buyu had participated in this battle, he would still do his best to fight. At this moment, Huang Shaishan's expression was incomparably solemn. He actually brought along the spatial brilliance and directly entered the gigantic body of the Buddha. Boundless terrifying energy opened up a hole on the body of the Buddha and he slowly walked in, expanding the hole. Buyu chanted Buddhic chants, causing the Buddhas to step out, wanting to crush the heavens and earth. The terrifying gigantic footprints directly descended but Huang Shatian still continued to walk forward, with no distractions in his heart. The gigantic footprints slammed down, wanting to crush him. But as the gigantic footprints landed, the experts here saw a hole appearing in the footprint. Huang Shatian walked out from it, finally arriving before Qin. With a grab, a spatial palm imprint directly locked onto Qin's body as boundless spatial storms ravaged the surroundings. Although Qin had already grasped a trace of immortal king might, Huang Shaishan's cultivation base was much higher than hers. He had already reached the threshold of the immortal king realm. How could she still fight against him? In an instant, Qin's life was in the hands of Huang Shatian. This monk has done his best. Buyu pressed his palms together. Huang Shatian was much stronger compared to before. This was especially so when he was using his full strength to deal with a single person. There was truly no one who could stop him. Just like what Huang Shatian said, if he wanted Qin to die, no one would be able to stop him. And indeed, he succeeded. However, he didn't make a move to kill Qing'er. Turning his head, Huang Shatian stared at the figure walking over. Qin Wentian's demonic eyes gleamed with incomparable coldness. His palm was placed on Huang Wudi's head. The unexcelled 9th-level Immortal Foundation expert Huang Wudi was captured by Qin Wentian. His life and death was in the hands of Qin Wentian. When the two battles erupted, the eyes of the geniuses in the surroundings were filled with too much to take in, not wanting to miss out on any details. Regardless of Qin Wentian or Huang Shatian, both of them were so powerful that it was shocking. If Huang Shatian wanted to kill Qing'er, no one would be able to stop him. But if Qin Wentian wanted to kill Huang Wudi, who would be able to obstruct him? You are very intelligent. You know that even if you unleash the power of your bloodline, you still wouldn't be able to stop me. Hence, you chose to deal with Huang Wudi, using this to threaten me not to kill your woman. Huang Shatian stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. Qin Wentian admitted that although he was already very strong now, Huang Shaishan's proficiency was different from his. Huang Shatian was proficient in spatial energy. Even if he could threaten Huang Shatian could still evade him to kill Qing'er. From the moment she killed Yudi, her fate was already determined. She would die for sure. Earlier, I didn't take your life because I underestimated you. But so what? I will deal with you first before killing her. It wouldn't be too late. Huang Shatian spoke and directly released Qing'er, causing many to be startled. He directly released her. What sort of confidence and pride was this? So what if he temporarily released Qing'er? As long as she was in the Sacred Academy, he could take her life at any time. Even if Qin Wentian used Huang Wudi to threaten him, in that case, he could only deal with Qin Wentian first before killing this daughter of the Evergreen Immortal Emperor. Qin Wentian also released Huang Wudi without any hesitation. He could sense Huang Shaishan's pride. He also knew that if he couldn't deal with Huang Shatian, no one would be able to stop him. With a flash of his silhouette, Qin Wentian soared up into the skies. Huang Shatian inclined his head and glanced at Qin Wentian. After that, he similarly soared up into the skies. Clearly, he had no choice but to admit that Qin Wentian was already qualified to be his opponent. The leaders of the two factions all soared up into the skies, facing each other. The hearts of everyone trembled when they saw this scene. At this instant, the gazes of everyone in the surroundings were all focused on the two of them. In the Sacred Academy, countless experts inclined their heads and stared at the picture scroll in the skies, staring at the location where Qin Wentian and Huang Shatian were. Even for the battle between the golden-winged great rock Jia Nantian and the mysterious expert from the Beast God sect, it didn't attract so much attention. The reason for this was naturally because the news of the battle between the two powers had already circulated through the Sacred Academy. It had always been the battle with the greatest rules in the Sacred Academy. In addition, right now, they didn't mind breaking the rules of the Sacred Academy. Even if they were expelled, they still wanted to kill their opponents. Both of them are equally arrogant. The spectating experts stared at the two supreme figures in the air. Each of them captured a person and didn't say anything. They released the captives one after another and continued their battle in the air. For people as prideful as them, there was no need for any unnecessary words. They all understood that this battle belonged to the two of them. Their battlefield would decide everything. Below, many of the combatants actually stopped their battle and inclined their heads to stare at the sky. Huang Wudi also stared over. Although he was safe and sound, today, he suffered the greatest setback in his life. He was at the 9th level of Immortal Foundation and was captured alive by Qin Wentian. In fact, Qin Wentian didn't even spare him a glance. He knew that if it wasn't for Huang Shatian, he would already be a dead man now. The two of them were named Huang Wudi and Huang Yudi respectively. Right now, his younger brother, Huang Yudi, died in the hands of Qin Wentian's wife. He himself was actually not a match for Qin Wentian at all. The sorrow of life was nothing more than this. He initially thought that his talent was outstanding, but he discovered by chance that in front of some people, his so-called talent was nothing but a joke. Qin Wentian and Huang Shaishan's robes fluttered in the wind. Huang Shatian was like a supreme human emperor. The shadow of a human emperor enveloped him, exuding a lofty and unexcelled aura, wanting everyone in the world to submit to him. Qin Wentian's entire body was enveloped by the greater demon god's protection. He stood there, resembling a descendant of a demon god, able to kill gods and Buddhas in the sky. Even human emperors wouldn't be spared. There were no more words spoken. Boundless spatial law energy directly descended from the sky, enveloping Qin Wentian, wanting to transform the place where Qin Wentian was at into Huang Shaishan's spatial law domain. However, the demon god's protection was simply too powerful. The spatial law energy wasn't able to suppress it at all. The demon god's protection was like the law itself. Human emperor light radiated from Huang Shatian. Each beam of immortal light was like the sharpest sword. His attacks were like millions of sharp swords, slashing towards the greater demon god's shadow that was protecting Qin Wentian. The terrifying swords contained powerful spatial fluctuations, directly penetrating into the greater demon god. Qin Wentian's expression froze. The shadow of the black turtle appeared on his body again. This time, the shadow of the black turtle was even larger, resembling a real black turtle. Huang Shatian stepped out and directly appeared outside of Qin Wentian's demon god's protection. He lifted his foot and walked towards Qin Wentian's defensive power. The law energy enveloped his body. His body was like the law energy. Above his body, the most powerful killing force actually appeared, directly breaking through the demon god's protection. He walked in step by step, heading towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's eyes were demonic to the extreme. The power of his bloodline was already too powerful. It wasn't something he could fully control at this moment. He asked himself that with his current strength, it wouldn't be a problem for him to deal with Huang Shatian in that battle back then. However, while he was growing, Huang Shatian was also growing. How domineering was it to directly walk through his tyrannical defensive power? Boom! Qin Wentian punched out. As this punch landed, a towering dragon's roar could be heard. An incomparably gigantic demonic dragon appeared, its roar shaking the mountains and rivers as it lunged towards Huang Shatian. That gigantic body of the demonic dragon wanted to tear Huang Shatian into pieces. Huang Shatian continued walking forward. Under the shadow of the gigantic demonic dragon, he simply walked forward with his hands behind his back. Roar! A heaven-shaking attack blasted into Huang Shatian. The demonic dragon was trapped in an absolute space and everything around Huang Shatian seemed to be under his complete control. The terrifying demonic dragon could only advance forward bit by bit, yet it was slowly being torn into pieces by Huang Shatian. Huang Shatian continued walking forward. There seemed to be a path of golden law energy there. This attack that could destroy a 9th-level Immortal Foundation expert had no way to obstruct his advance. Qin Wentian's countenance was cold. He blasted out another attack. An incomparably gigantic demonic palm imprint was inscribed with many ancient characters, suppressing this entire space. The strength of this attack had already reached a terrifying extent. Huang Shaishan's body was forcibly grabbed by this terrifying palm imprint, burying him within. But after that, everyone saw a hole appearing in the palm imprint as the law energy dissipated. Huang Shatian walked out from it and walked towards Qin Wentian. Chapter 1209. The demon god's protection was broken, the tyrannical palm imprint couldn't do anything to him. Huang Shaishan's aura didn't fluctuate at all. At this moment, he was the human emperor, a supreme human emperor. 9 emperor light revolved around him as boundless law energy gushed forth from him. It was as though he had transformed into law itself. The closer one was to him, the stronger the law domain would be. As for Huang Shatian himself, he had the strongest law domain. If one wanted to kill him, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. The reason why immortal kings were so terrifying and so difficult to kill was because their physique had already reached an extreme. Huang Shatian now had a strand of immortal king might. In addition to his own strength, he was now invincible. Earlier when he went to capture Qing'er, it was the same. No one could stop him. Qin Wentian's eyes were as demonic as ever, so demonic that it caused people to feel a sense of fear. He stretched out his palm as boundless energy converged. God's hand and Buddha path true arts fused together. In terms of cultivation base and law comprehension, he was clearly at a disadvantage because Huang Shatian had already managed to pry open the gate to the immortal king realm. But in terms of innate techniques, Qin Wentian was confident that he was stronger than Huang Shatian. In addition, his bloodline power erupted forth, causing all of his attributes to rise to another level. If the person he was facing now wasn't Huang Shatian but an ordinary 9th level Immortal Foundation expert, he would be able to defeat his opponent easily. Just like earlier, even someone as powerful as Huang Wudi was easily captured by him. Boom! The god's palm imprint blasted out. That terrifying palm imprint contained boundless law inscriptions that blasted towards Huang Shatian. On the surface of that terrifying palm imprint, there were actually countless ancient characters of destruction and suppression that blasted downwards. This entire space was about to be suppressed, completely razed to flat ground. Bodies of flesh and blood could be easily crushed into smithereens. It was just that the person under the palm was none other than Huang Shatian. Huang Shatian, who was like a human emperor, actually radiated a 9-colored light that intertwined with each other, containing boundless transformations. He lifted his finger and pointed it at the air as boundless energy gushed forth from his immortal foundation. In an instant, 9 human emperors appeared, wielding golden spatial swords that pierced towards the gigantic palm imprint above their heads. Huang Shatian himself acted as though he didn't see anything. He continued walking forward, his steps filled with an incomparably strong self-confidence. When the 9 human emperors slashed at the golden spatial sword, the terrifying gigantic palm imprint was forcefully torn apart bit by bit. A chaotic flow of destruction seethed in the air, causing the spectators who were watching from afar to feel their hearts trembling. The feeling Qin Wentian gave off was that his defense was incomparably tyrannical, as though no one would be able to break through his defenses. His attacks were even more violent, indestructible and unstoppable. What he grasped was the power of an ultimate art, but how could Huang Shatian be weak? He was the most outstanding genius of this generation of the 9 emperors' immortal state. He was one of the strongest geniuses in the entire Tiandao Sacred Academy and was ranked at the very top of the Supreme Might rankings. The Battle Saint tribe, Namhuang clan, Qing'er, Mo Qingcheng, all of them were nervously watching this battle. When they saw how strong Huang Shatian was, all of their hearts palpitated as they were extremely nervous. Qin Wentian's strength had already far surpassed their expectations. However, wasn't Huang Shatian the same as well? Right now, Huang Shatian exuded an invincible might. Would Qin Wentian be able to block him? In truth, to many people in the Sacred Academy, they were already extremely shocked and they saw that Qin Wentian was able to force Huang Shatian to unleash such tyrannical strength. Even the wordless monk wouldn't be able to do this. Before this, they basically didn't think that Qin Wentian would be a match for Huang Shatian. They felt that Qin Wentian didn't have the qualifications to do so despite how strong he was. But after his bloodline completely erupted, Qin Wentian grew even stronger. He was truly fighting against Huang Shatian and Huang Shatian seemed to have no way to directly kill him. However, as Huang Shatian continued advancing, getting closer and closer to Qin Wentian, they still felt that the victor of this battle would still belong to Huang Shatian. No matter how terrifying the bloodline in Qin Wentian's body was, it ultimately wasn't a power that came from his own cultivation base or his comprehensions. No matter how terrifying it was, Qin Wentian had no way to truly control it. He could only depend on it to amplify his own strength. Huang Shatian stared at Qin Wentian. His gaze was as calm as ever. He could sense how tyrannical Qin Wentian's defenses were. He knew that unless he attacked in close combat, even with his powerful offensive innate techniques, he wouldn't be able to completely destroy Qin Wentian. At this moment, Qin Wentian borrowed the power of his bloodline to go berserk. Only the most direct and most violent attacks would be able to destroy him. Only to see Huang Shaishan's flawless human emperor immortal foundation instantly resonated with the heavens. Boundless human emperor light cascaded downwards as a supreme energy enveloped this entire space. Above Qin Wentian, numerous gigantic human emperors descended from the sky. With a thunderous boom, they didn't rush towards Qin Wentian but chose to stand guard behind Qin Wentian instead. The bodies of the 9 golden renhuangs were like the barriers of the immortals. They shone brilliantly, illuminating the entire world. Incomparably wondrous changes took place. Endless runes of rules flowed within them. The 9 golden renhuangs were filled with the power of space attribute. They turned into invisible barriers of heaven and earth, sealing off this space. Qin Wentian was in the center. Kill. Huang Shatian spat out a single word. A moment later, the diagram of the 9 human emperors shot out countless beams of golden light, wanting to shatter this entire space. In the area enveloped by the beams of light, everything would be annihilated. However, at the same time, Qin Wentian's immortal foundation similarly radiated a dazzling light. This immortal foundation actually transformed on its own, transforming into the body of Qin Wentian. A towering demonic might gushed forth as blood-colored demonic shadows appeared. Demonic dragons, great rocks, black tortoises, divine elephants and many other greater demons appeared one after another, exuding an incomparably fearsome destructive might. They stood guard around Qin Wentian as they unleashed heaven-shaking attacks, blasting towards the 9 human emperors. Golden figures descended from the sky as ancient characters of suppression could be seen floating around Qin Wentian. At the same time, terrifying ancient halberds of destruction appeared in the hands of these figures as they slashed out. Is this the power of a perfect and flawless immortal foundation? The experts of the Sacred Academy felt their hearts trembling when they saw this scene. Huang Shatian and Qin Wentian both had perfect immortal foundations. Right now, they could actually use their immortal foundation to create such a shocking power. Although Wuxia also had an immortal foundation, it was still hard for them to imagine that an immortal foundation could be so powerful to such an extent. Was this the power of an immortal foundation? You used the power of your bloodline to strengthen your body of flesh and blood as well as your immortal foundation, allowing you to transform into a humanoid war beast, raising your attack power to a terrifying level. But you have to understand that no matter how strong you are, there's still a limit. The peak of immortal foundation is the limit of your strength. If your comprehension of law energy isn't strong enough, you won't be able to break through this limit. Hence, it's destined that you won't be able to kill me. Huang Shatian stared at Qin Wentian. Even if your bloodline is infused with a strand of law energy, I'm still at the peak of the 9th level, stepping into another level. I can unceasingly break through this limit but you can't. Hence, you are destined to die today. Qin Wentian didn't expect that Huang Shatian would suddenly speak at this moment. Both of them understood that no words would be able to shake the state of their hearts. Both of them had an incomparable conviction, and that was to kill their opponent. Cultivation is truly mysterious. This Tiandao Sacred Academy is filled with geniuses of the immortal realms and even has a humanoid monster like you. I can't help but say that if you reached my level, I'm afraid even I wouldn't be your opponent. The reason why I'm saying this to you is because I suddenly feel that it's a pity. Because I discovered how strong you are, it's a pity that you died here before you could mature. What a pity that I lost a powerful opponent. Huang Shaishan's voice was filled with fluctuations. If one wanted to walk to the peak, they couldn't do without some supreme enemies. Qin Wentian was very suitable to be an opponent. Huang Shatian wasn't like many people who felt that the stronger an enemy was, the earlier they should be killed. On the contrary, he felt that the stronger an enemy was, the more motivation he would have. In this world, if there was no one to contend against, the path of cultivation would be lonely. That would truly be a tragedy. How could one continue to advance? When everyone heard this, their hearts trembled. The supreme character Huang Shatian actually had a look of pity in his eyes when he walked to Qin Wentian. This was him acknowledging Qin Wentian's talent. In fact, he even admitted that if Qin Wentian reached his level, even he wouldn't be a match for him. However, everyone also understood that every word Huang Shatian said was the truth. Qin Wentian used his tyrannical bloodline to stimulate his strength to a limit, even surpassing the limits of his immortal foundation. Hence, in this state, Qin Wentian could deal with any peak-level immortal foundation experts who had yet to pry into the immortal king realm. However, Huang Shatian had already taken that step. Only by taking that step would he be able to undergo a transformation, raising his limits greatly. Hence, the ending of this battle wouldn't change. Qin Wentian also comprehended Huang Shatian's words. In addition, he could also sense that what Huang Shatian said was the truth. Huang Shatian moved. He took a step out, arriving before Qin Wentian. The law might from him was released to the extreme as 9 human emperors appeared above his immortal foundation. Lifting a finger, Huang Shatian's body glowed with boundless human emperor light. He transformed into a supreme human emperor as the human emperors all shot towards Qin Wentian. This attack contained all of Huang Shatian's killing arts, exploding forth from the human emperor. Qin Wentian was about to be destroyed. The demon divinity protection appeared once more as the shadow of the divine turtle appeared. Qin Wentian let out a heaven-shaking roar of rage as countless demonic beasts rushed out from his immortal foundation. However, as the human emperors descended, Qin Wentian's defenses were being destroyed bit by bit. This entire space was enveloped by a supreme destructive might, so powerful that it was sufficient to destroy all immortal foundation experts, including Wuxia. This attack was enough to take away Qin Wentian's life. Chapter 12:10. Qin Wentian's true godlike body was surrounded by ancient runes and was about to be destroyed. Qing'er, Mo Qingcheng, the experts from the Namhuang clan and the Battle Saint tribe were all extremely nervous. However, no one could participate in a battle of this level. Only Qin Wentian would be able to save them. At this moment, Qin Wentian stared ahead. There was no end to the destruction of the human emperor's body. Huang Shatian was right in front of him, waving a finger at him. With this finger, numerous supreme human emperors rushed towards him, wanting to destroy all his defenses. With his body as the center, all defenses were destroyed. Huang Shatian's eyes were as cold as ice. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation turned blood-colored, exuding terrifying demonic qi. He continued blasting out demonic attacks, doing his best to defend against the destructive might of Huang Shatian. However, it seemed that all his efforts were futile. In this short instant, the destructive might of Huang Shatian had already destroyed all his attacks and was rushing towards him. With the 9 human emperors guarding him in all directions, he had no way to escape to the heavens and no way to the earth. Absolute space, absolute killing intent. Who at the immortal foundation level could escape from such an attack? Boom! Huang Shatian's attack finally broke through everything, slamming into Qin Wentian's body. Huang Shatian discovered that right now, Qin Wentian's body was filled with boundless energy and wasn't destroyed at all. He pressed his finger forward, unleashing the killing intent of the human emperors. Rumbling sounds rang out as Qin Wentian's body grew several times larger. Although he was still restricted in this space, he was still like a giant. Boom, boom, boom. Regardless of the ancient characters, the body of truth, or the supreme physique created from God's hand, all of them were broken apart. Huang Shatian's tyrannical attack finally landed on Qin Wentian's body. At this moment, his sharp lips curled up in a cold smile. Although it was a pity, he still wanted to kill Qin Wentian no matter what. All of a sudden, Huang Shatian furrowed his brows. He inclined his head only to see that above Qin Wentian's immortal foundation, 8 terrifying greater demons manifested. They shone with a fearsome blood-colored demonic light, shining on Qin Wentian. In an instant, his entire immortal foundation felt like it was about to be sucked dry. Boundless demonic might gushed forth from his arms as the greater demon innate treasure art of God's hand appeared. In an instant, the 8 greater demons transformed into a terrifying vortex that gushed towards Huang Shatian. In an instant, the sky turned dark. This attack was like the scene of doomsday, devouring the heavens and earth as it shot towards Huang Shatian. Demons devouring the heavens and earth, doomsday arrived. Huang Shatian could sense danger at this moment. His body suddenly shone with a dazzling golden light as he retreated. However, he discovered that the terrifying vortex had already enveloped this entire space. There was basically no time for him to escape. "You are ruthless enough." Huang Shatian coldly stared at Qin Wentian. His strongest attack was actually reserved for the best moment, draining all the energy in his immortal foundation to unleash this attack. Earlier, he allowed Qin Wentian's attack to penetrate into his body, wanting to make him feel that victory was already in his grasp. But now, Qin Wentian chose to unleash this attack. When Huang Shatian's attack was nearing its end, there was no doubt that this attack would be able to unleash a terrifying destructive might that could threaten Huang Shatian's life. Knowing that he had no way to escape this attack, Huang Shatian radiated boundless spatial light, extending outwards. However, the destructive vortex directly engulfed him, devouring the boundless spatial light. Huang Shatian struggled, wanting to step into the void and leave. However, that terrifying vortex of darkness emanated an incomparably terrifying devouring force, causing him to sink deeper and deeper into it. Everyone felt their hearts trembling when they saw this scene. Huang Shatian was actually devoured by Qin Wentian's strongest attack. That vortex radiated a boundless destructive might. That terrifying vortex of darkness was like a samsara vortex of doomsday, capable of annihilating all lives. At the instant Qin Wentian blasted out that attack, he coughed out a few mouthfuls of fresh blood. His aura instantly weakened, and the terrifying aura in his body was like the receding tides. His body fell downwards, as though all his energy had been sucked dry. Qing'er and the others had already stepped out. She didn't look at Huang Shatian. In her eyes, there was only Qin Wentian's safety. Numerous silhouettes flickered, surrounding Qin Wentian who had fallen to the ground. At this moment, Qin Wentian was half kneeling on the ground as he coughed out another few mouthfuls of fresh blood. His body was completely devoid of energy as he softly slumped to the ground. However, Qing'er was still holding on to him. Fresh blood dyed Qing'er's robes red. Terrifying wounds could be seen all over his body, and his aura was in an extremely weak state. Wentian. Qingqing's eyes were red. She was half kneeling on the ground, and together with Qing'er, she was hugging Qin Wentian. When she saw his current state, she felt as though her heart was being pierced by a knife. Qing'er hugged Qin Wentian tightly, as traces of tears could be seen in her eyes. How terrifying was Huang Shatian's attack. She knew why Qin Wentian chose to wait until the very last moment to unleash that destructive attack. Because, Qin Wentian understood that only he could stop Huang Shatian. If he couldn't deal with Huang Shatian would kill her. Hence, Qin Wentian didn't care about the price. Even if he had to endure heavy injuries, he still wanted to save that final attack for the very last moment. Only when all his defenses were destroyed and Huang Shatian's attack entered his body would he act. In order to fight for the slightest chance of survival, he didn't hesitate to suffer heavy injuries. This was the character of Qin Wentian. When he was ruthless to himself, he could disregard everything. At this moment, everyone inclined their heads and stared at the sky. Although Qin Wentian was heavily injured, his eyes were also staring up at the sky. Huang Shaishan's ending had yet to be determined. Qin Wentian still hadn't relaxed his heart. Hence, he had to open his eyes and watch. He was very clear how powerful this attack was. It was sufficient to destroy a peak-level Immortal Foundation expert. But he also knew who he was facing. He had personally experienced how powerful Huang Shatian was. Hence, even if it was just a single attack, he still doubted if it would be able to deal a fatal blow to Huang Shatian. And as expected, he saw a terrifying rumbling sound echoing out from the center of the vortex, shaking the heavens and earth. That terrifying energy had yet to dissipate, it had yet to completely engulf Huang Shatian. Abruptly, a supreme golden light shot out from the gap between the vortex. With a deafening boom, a terrifying explosion rang out as everything was destroyed. Huang Shaishan's silhouette appeared in the air. At this instant, the gazes of everyone froze there. Such an attack actually failed to destroy Huang Shatian. Qin Wentian stared at the silhouette of Huang Shatian as a look of reluctance flashed in his eyes. Even this attack failed to destroy him. If this was the case, what about Qing'er? Cough cough. At this moment, a low-sounding cough broke the silence in the air. The light radiating from Huang Shatian crumbled unceasingly. The human emperor armor he wore shattered into millions of fragments, instantly turning into dust. With a wail, Huang Shatian coughed out a mouthful of fresh blood as his body similarly fell from the air. Boom! His body slammed onto the ground. This sudden scene caused the people from the 9 emperors' immortal state to have no time to react. At this moment, only then did Huang Wudi step out, rushing towards Huang Shatian. Huang Shatian has fallen as well. Great waves of shock rose in the hearts of everyone. That 6th-level Immortal Foundation expert named Qin Wentian actually went all out and defeated the powerful Huang Shatian. Upon seeing this scene, a smile flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. Even though he was heavily injured, it was still worth it. Although he didn't manage to kill Huang Shatian, at the very least, he managed to defeat him. Now that Huang Shatian had lost his combat prowess, there was no one who had absolute certainty of victory in this battle. Qing'er, Qingqing. Qin Wentian stared at the two of them as a radiant smile flickered in his weak eyes. After that, he closed his eyes and fainted. This battle ultimately ended with both sides suffering heavy injuries. It was a tragic battle, yet a glorious battle, causing a commotion in the entire Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian used his strength and unyieldingness to let the geniuses of the Tiandao Sacred Academy have a new understanding of him. He was a character who could unleash his full strength, a character who could contend against Huang Shatian. In the sky, a terrifying pressure descended once again. An incomparably majestic face appeared in the air. He appeared in the sky above the scroll and said coldly, "Are you satisfied now? Even the will of the rules of the Sacred Academy cannot make you compromise. You still have to kill your opponent at all costs. This generation of cultivators of the Sacred Academy is very good. Since you all disregard the rules, I will give you all 3 years. 3 years later, the sermon at the Sacred Academy will be held. This will also be the last sermon at the Tiandao Sacred Academy. After this, you all can leave." The imposing voice was heard once again, causing everyone to be stunned. Was the Sacred Academy angry? 3 years later, the last sermon at the Sacred Academy would be held. After that, everyone would be chased out of the Sacred Academy. Many people were somewhat unwilling, especially those who had not yet reached a very high level of cultivation. They still hoped to be able to cultivate in the Sacred Academy for a longer period of time. However, no one truly understood the will of the Sacred Academy, and no one knew what the figure above the Sacred Academy was thinking. They made the rules, and whatever they wanted to do, naturally happened. Whether it was the method of entry or the time of cultivation, it was all decided by the will of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Now, the Sacred Academy had decided to only give them the last 3 years of cultivation and 1 sermon at the Sacred Academy. Huang Wudi glanced coldly at the crowd on Qin Wentian's side. Then, they took Huang Shatian with them and left. Qin Er did the same with Qin Wentian. Neither side had any intention of continuing to fight. Things had come to this point, and the Sacred Academy was already angry. If they continued to fight, who knew if the Sacred Academy would expel them right away? Now, the most important thing was the injuries of Huang Shatian and Qin Wentian. Chapter 12:11. This time around, Qin Wentian's injuries were extremely heavy. He originally had no way to fully control that terrifying bloodline power in his body. Once he unleashed it, he would grow even stronger. But when that power drained all the energy in his body, he would become extremely weak. That demonic blood was simply too tyrannical, it shouldn't have awakened so early. Back then, when it was awakened in the Blood River Holy Lands, he had forcibly used it. If it wasn't for the fact that his physique was perfect and his physique unparalleled, directly using the tyrannical power of the demonic blood which exceeded his cultivation base, he would have exploded and died. Back then when he was fleeing for his life, he killed Huang Dangtian and a few others. He also experienced a period of weakness. This time around, his condition was even more severe because not only did he use the demonic blood, he was also heavily injured by Huang Shatian. If it wasn't for the fact that he had another type of bloodline, he wouldn't have been able to endure such injuries and his internal organs would have lost their vitality. After all, he was so weak right now that he didn't have any immortal energy to heal his body. He could only rely on the energy in his body to heal himself. The diagram in the air dissipated after 3 months. Many people who had grudges against each other fought many times. The powers represented by Huang Shatian and Qin Wentian all ceased their banners and drums of drums, no longer engaging in battle. This battle was already sufficiently intense. If it continued, no one could predict what the ending would be. Time flowed by, the experts in the Tiandao Sacred Academy were all busy cultivating, not daring to stop for even a moment. Right now, they only had 3 years left. And in the blink of an eye, 2 years passed. During these 2 years, Qin Wentian had been in a state where his injuries had yet to fully recover. However, he didn't delay his cultivation and would often meditate to comprehend his insights, cultivating his immortal energy and sensing his law energy. Although he was heavily injured in that battle, it also gave him many insights. Although he had personally experienced the might of immortal kings in the secret realm of the sacred ground, fighting against someone like Huang Shatian at such a close distance would undoubtedly increase his comprehension. During these 2 years, Qing'er's cultivation base also broke through to the 6th level of Immortal Foundation. Back then, the energy in her body awakened and she could control a trace of Immortal King might. From then on, her comprehension of spatial energy grew even more terrifying. In the future when she reached the Immortal King realm, her cultivation speed would be extremely fast, far surpassing her past. In the mountains of the Sacred Academy, Qin Wentian stood on top of a boulder and breathed in the air of heaven and earth. He felt extremely comfortable. "Do you feel better?" Beside him, a figure as beautiful as a celestial maiden could be seen. It was none other than Imo Qingcheng. "Yes, much better. I should be able to go out for a walk." Qin Wentian nodded with a smile. "I heard that Huang Shatian has recovered from his injuries. You haven't fully recovered yet, so it's better if you don't go out." A beam of light shone in the space, and the golden threads gradually condensed. In front of Qin Wentian, Qing Er's figure appeared. "Qing Er, your control over Immortal King might is getting more and more powerful." Qin Wentian smiled. "Right now, I can extend my law energy to a certain distance. Within this distance, I can instantly teleport to any location." Qing Er spoke in a light voice. "Your spatial abilities are truly extraordinary. That battle back then was truly a fluke. If it wasn't for the fact that Huang Shatian felt that victory was already in his grasp and was a little more cautious, that attack might not have been able to hit him. Qin Wentian spoke as he thought back to that battle back then. You risked your own injuries and used that powerful attack again. Even if you did it again, he might not have been able to escape. Qin shook her head. Qin Wentian laughed. Qin given the strand of might you can control now, immortal kings who are proficient in spatial energy would be even more terrifying. Being able to move freely within the range of one's law energy. That is teleportation. Right. Qin nodded. For immortal kings who were proficient in spatial energy, they would have the ability to teleport. When fighting against such an expert, unless one was strong enough to the point where they could teleport, destroying the entire space, it would be impossible to kill them. In that case, it would be too dangerous for Huang Shatian to step into the immortal king realm. Qin Wentian mumbled. I still have to go out and cultivate. Huang Shatian is different from Huang Yudi. He is more arrogant, and after that battle back then, he wouldn't act again in the Sacred Academy. I will accompany you then. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded. Although Qin didn't say anything, she quietly walked to the other side of Qin Wentian. Let's go. With two beauties accompanying him, it was truly a joy. Huang Shatian had indeed recovered from his injuries. At this moment, he was standing in the Tongtian Heaven Stone in the sky-connecting realm of the Sacred Academy. Behind him, there were experts from the 9 Emperors' immortal state, including Huang Wudi. Do you really want to enter closed-door seclusion for a year? 2 years ago, if you didn't underestimate your opponent, you would have been able to kill him. Are you not going to take revenge now? Huang Wudi spoke in a low voice. Underestimate my opponent? Huang Shatian mocked. Don't try to find a high-sounding reason for me. During that battle, I had the heart to kill him, but in the end, both of us were heavily injured. But given the disparity in our cultivation bases, there's no doubt that I lost. Since I lost, what qualifications do I have to continue fighting? I will temporarily spare the lives of him and the daughter of the evergreen immortal state, but not now. As he spoke, Huang Shatian walked towards the sky-connecting immortal stone, stepping into it once more. Huang Wudi sighed. He wasn't worried that Qin Wentian would come to kill him again. Because as long as Huang Shatian was alive, Qin Wentian and the others would understand a logic. If Huang Shatian really wanted to kill someone, other than Qin Wentian, no one else would be able to stop him. In fact, even Qin Wentian might not be able to do so. Hence, Qin Wentian wouldn't act again unless he was confident enough to kill Huang Shatian. And Huang Shatian also didn't have any intentions to act again. This meant that the battle between both parties could only wait until they returned to the immortal realms. In this final year, the geniuses of the Sacred Academy all set aside their grudges and only focused on cultivation. Only when they were about to exit did they feel the urgency of time. They had to fight for every second they could. During this 1 year, Qin Wentian roamed the various secret realms of the Sacred Academy. His cultivation base rose little by little. He believed that before he exited this place, it shouldn't be a problem for him to raise his cultivation base to the 7th level of Immortal Foundation. In this case, even if he didn't use his bloodline power and just used his original cultivation base, only Immortal Foundation experts on the same level as Huang Shatian would be able to threaten him. Time flowed by like flowing water. The more everyone hoped that time would slow down, the faster it passed. 3 years passed. Today, the sound of a bell rang out in the Sacred Academy. Every corner of the Sacred Academy could hear it. After that, the sound drifted into the ears of the crowd. The final Tao lecture of the Sacred Academy would no longer be held in 4 different Sacred Academies. Close to 20,000 geniuses would gather together to listen to the Tao. This time around, the location of the Tao lecture of the Sacred Academy would be the sky-connecting realm. At this moment, the sky-connecting realm was undergoing an intense transformation. The light barrier in the surroundings vanished. In the central region of the sky-connecting realm, each and every stone pillar radiated boundless immortal light, shooting up into the clouds. Over there, a boundless starry sky seemed to have appeared. These stone pillars were none other than the immortal seats in the sky-connecting realm. All the geniuses would sit on them and listen to the final Tao lecture of the Sacred Academy. Numerous figures soared through the air, landing in the central region of the sky-connecting realm. They inclined their heads and stared at the boundless starry sky. Resplendent astral light cascaded downwards, and below the sky-connecting realm, there seemed to be a terrifying constellation diagram that was currently absorbing the boundless astral energy, radiating a resplendent light. This place was the sky-connecting realm. It seemed as though it could truly connect to the heavens. Qin Wentian accompanied Qing'er and Imo Qingcheng as they descended into the sky-connecting realm. Behind him, Purgatory hugged Little Rascal and followed. Little Rascal seemed to be enjoying the feeling of being in Purgatory's embrace, while Purgatory had a look of disdain on her face as she stared at Little Rascal. Numerous figures landed beside Qin Wentian. These were all experts from the Battle Saint tribe. Wentian, Namhuang Yunshi and Nanfeng Xinga appeared. They walked over together with the experts from the Namhuang clan. Yunshi, Xinga. Qin Wentian smiled as he called out. Let's continue forward. They continued forward, moving towards the direction of the sky-connecting immortal rock. Over there was a figure with his hands behind his back, quietly standing there. Qin Wentian's gaze landed on that figure as a gleam of sharpness flashed in his eyes. After that, he only saw that figure slowly turning around, glancing at Qin Wentian and Qing'er. His eyes were as calm as ever. After that, his silhouette flashed as he appeared on the stone pillar at the very front. Ahead, the experts from the 9 Emperors' immortal state, White Tiger People, Thunder God Hall, Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, and many others all stared at him with cold gazes, their killing intent extremely intense. There's still one last Tao lecture left in the Sacred Academy. Once you exit the sky-connecting realm, it will be your doomsday. The baleful aura radiating from Bai Mao was terrifying. In the sky-connecting realm, the White Tiger People had never experienced such humiliation before. I truly want to see whose doomsday it will be. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan similarly had a cold look in her eyes. When had their Namhuang clan ever feared anyone? Let's go up. Qin Wentian didn't look at those people. There was no point in arguing with them. He knew that the other party wanted nothing more than to tear him into 1,000 pieces. However, wasn't he the same as well? Numerous figures flickered, landing on the stone pillars as they were enveloped by starlight. From different locations in the Sacred Academy, more and more experts rushed over. When everyone arrived in the sky-connecting realm, they discovered that the starlight enveloped this entire world. The diagrams on the ground radiated an incomparably intense light, and after that, they felt the entire space trembling. It was as though they had arrived in the starry skies. When they glanced at their surroundings, the Tiandao Sacred Academy was nowhere to be seen. In this place, there was only the sky-connecting realm. The sky-connecting realm could connect to the heavens. Chapter 12:12. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the sky. He was still sitting on the towering stone pillar, but he had a feeling that his body was moving. The entire sky-connecting realm was moving towards the boundless starry space. The diagram of the sky-connecting realm seemed to be an extremely powerful divine formation. Starry space. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared into the distance. There seemed to be an incomparably gigantic constellation there. Despite the distance, he could still sense how vast and tyrannical its aura was. Are we shuttling through the starry space? A thought appeared in the minds of many people. When an intense beam of light descended, the piercing divine light made it so that they couldn't open their eyes. The light ahead was countless times more dazzling compared to the sun. At this moment, their eyes couldn't endure the light, even their immortal senses couldn't resist it. Everyone instantly lost their senses. Boom! An intense tremor rang out. Qin Wentian's immortal sense could finally stretch out. When he opened his eyes, he was still sitting on the towering stone pillar. However, Qingcheng and the others who were beside him had already vanished. Before him, a figure could be seen floating in the air. This person was someone Qin Wentian had never seen before. He quietly stood there as though he had always been waiting for him. He was clad in simple robes and his cultivation base wasn't high, only at the 6th level of Immortal Foundation, the same as him. However, just by standing there casually, he gave off a feeling as though he was one with the heavens and earth. Such a sense of perfect harmony caused Qin Wentian to feel moved. He knew that he wouldn't be able to do this. Between the two of us, only one can leave here alive. The young man calmly spoke. Qin Wentian frowned. Was the last Dao lecture of the Tiandao Sacred Academy a life and death tempering exercise? But who was this person? At the instant he turned, Qin Wentian could sense the aura of this person changing. In an instant, a divine glow radiated from him, piercing everyone's eyes. His physique was like that of a fiend god as the halo of light enveloped this entire space. At this instant, Qin Wentian felt an unexcelled pressure. It was as though this entire space was under his control. Qin Wentian knew that he couldn't find a second 6th level Immortal Foundation expert who could stand shoulder to shoulder with him in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. However, this person truly caused Qin Wentian to feel an incomparably intense threat. Clearly, this person wasn't someone who belonged to Wuxia of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian's aura gushed forth as a heavy look flashed in his eyes. This was a powerful enemy. Boom! That person suddenly moved. In an instant, boundless lightning bolts descended from the sky, enveloping the area where Qin Wentian was at. That person transformed into lightning and instantly appeared before Qin Wentian. A war chariot of thunder appeared, crushing everything in its path, including Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's countenance drastically changed. At the instant his opponent acted, only then did he know that this person was far more terrifying than he had imagined. The god's hand transformed into a terrifying palm imprint and blasted out explosively. The terrifying shadow of the divine turtle enveloped him as ancient characters floated about. Boom, boom, boom. Under the might of the war chariot, everything was crushed. The palm imprint shattered, the ancient characters were destroyed, and the shadow of the divine turtle exploded. Qin Wentian was ruthlessly flung through the air, groaning in pain as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. His countenance was as pale as paper, staring in shock at the figure before him. Boundless destructive lightning radiated from the body of his opponent, it was incomparably dazzling. Thunder and lightning unceasingly descended from the sky, blasting into the surroundings of Qin Wentian. Numerous terrifying war chariots of thunder appeared, capable of crushing everything in the world. Body of laws, immortal king might. Qin Wentian stared fixedly at his opponent. He knew that regardless of which aspect he was proficient in, he was already extremely outstanding. However, with just a single strike, he was injured. The enemy before him was actually even more terrifying compared to Huang Shatian. You must have learned many things in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. If not, you would have already died from that strike. Sadly, you didn't learn enough. Hence, you can only die now. The expression on the other party's face was indifferent, as though he was talking about something insignificant. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with a ruthless light as he directly activated the power of his bloodline, causing a terrifying aura to erupt forth from him. The eyes of his opponent flashed as an expression of interest appeared on his face. But after that, a tyrannical thunder might gushed forth from him as well. At this instant, his long hair fluttered in the wind as the sound of thunder filled the air. The entire world seemed to have transformed into a world of thunder and lightning. Bloodline power. His opponent laughed. The aura gushing forth from him was also a fearsome bloodline power. Kill. He pointed his finger forward. Instantly, thunder war chariots rumbled as they instantly appeared before Qin Wentian. Each war chariot contained a fearsome destructive might, sufficient to destroy everything. Qin Wentian was unceasingly forced back. The attacks of his opponent seemed to be boundless. Such an innate technique was already at the level of an ultimate art. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation radiated boundless blood-colored demonic light. Numerous greater demons frenziedly erupted forth, yet they were unable to destroy the war chariots. He can actually endure for so long. A look of shock flashed in the eyes of the young man. With a thunderous boom, his body vanished from sight and appeared in the airspace above Qin Wentian, riding on the 9 thunder war chariots. The front of these war chariots had the thunder god's spear, as well as a destructive darkness chi. With a thunderous boom, the war chariots descended from the sky, directly blasting into Qin Wentian's body. At this instant, no matter how powerful the attack was, it would all be destroyed. Qin Wentian roared, unleashing his strongest attack. Using his true divine-like body, he activated God's hand and unleashed a devouring demonic might that instantly engulfed the war chariot, enveloping it within. That young man frowned. After that, he directly drove the thunder chariot into the terrifying whirlpool. After that, a terrifying explosion sound rang out from within the apocalyptic whirlpool as a terrifying storm raged out. The sound of the explosion rang out as the whirlpool was destroyed. That young man appeared once more as the thunder chariot was destroyed. That young man seemed to be in a sorry state, but he wasn't injured at all. That broken academy actually managed to nurture someone like you. How rare. A look of arrogance flashed in the eyes of the young man as he coldly spoke. But you still have to die. As he spoke, the war chariots appeared once more. At this instant, there were 18 of them. The immortal king might he controlled was actually even stronger compared to Huang Shatian. In addition to the augmentation from his bloodline, he could simply be said to be invincible among immortals. Qin Wentian had a look of despair on his face. He had never thought that he would encounter such a terrifying opponent. When the 18 war chariots swept past, the destruction of the heavens and earth could be felt. Qin Wentian's body was directly penetrated by the destructive might. At this instant, he felt an intense reluctance in his heart. After 40 years in the sacred academy, his cultivation had risen so much. Would he die just like that? After he died, what would Qing'er do? What would Qingqing do? If they encountered such a situation, would they be able to survive? After he died, what would happen to the hatred of his parents? His consciousness gradually dissipated. His soul was about to dissipate, and there were still many reluctance in his heart. At this instant, countless scenes flashed through his mind. These scenes were like a projection, from when he was young in the sky harmony city of Chu, to when he saw Qingqing in love. In his heart, there was a deep longing for her. Why do you pursue the martial path? A voice rang out in his mind. In this life, why did he pursue the martial path? For the sake of Qingqing, he destroyed the Pill Emperor Hall. For the sake of Qing'er, he entered the Evergreen Kingdom. And for the sake of his father, he had to go through all sorts of cruel experiences. Pursuing the martial path, for the sake of this world, couldn't obstruct his true heart. Rumble. His mind trembled violently as his consciousness returned to his body. Qin Wentian abruptly opened his eyes, only to feel that his entire body was drenched in sweat. He glanced at his surroundings, and when he saw Qing'er and Qingqing, a deep sense of joy could be seen in his eyes. He discovered that both Qing'er and Qingqing were looking at him, and there were even traces of tears at the corners of their eyes. At this instant, Qin Wentian suddenly understood. Most probably, in that instant earlier, they must have experienced the same thing as him. Was that real, or was it an illusion? Qin Wentian stared at the sky-connecting realm, not daring to be certain. Was that an illusion? Why did it feel so real? Even the innate techniques were so real. The strength of the other party, the strength of the other party, he felt as though he had personally experienced it. Was that real? Why was there such a powerful and terrifying Wuxia? In fact, he even referred to the Tiandao Sacred Academy as a broken academy. The Holy Land where Wuxia pursued the path of cultivation, the place where ancient emperors were nurtured, was actually a broken academy. In that instant earlier, I'm sure all of you should have sensed something. Why do you pursue the martial path? You all should understand what your obsession is. This is your endless motivation. Maybe it might seem inconspicuous, but in truth, the depth of your obsession would determine how far you can walk in the future. An ethereal voice drifted over. On the sky connecting Immortal rock, an ethereal shadow appeared. The entire sky connecting realm seemed to be floating in the starry space. What sort of existence was the master of the sky connecting realm exactly? Was the person preaching the Tao the master of the sacred academy? Qin Wentian deeply agreed with the words of the other party. The obsession a person had with cultivation would determine how strong their determination was. If it wasn't for him being forced by the external environment, maybe he would still be able to cultivate to his current cultivation realm, but it wouldn't be so fast. I've seen many people in my life. Some people couldn't break through the barrier of Immortal Foundation after living for too long, and they would give up on themselves. Some people were trapped in the Immortal King realm for too long, and their heart demons would grow, causing them to lose their original self. At that time, without sufficient conviction, they might only be able to stand at the same level for their entire lives. You guys are the same as well. Not just one person, but all of you will eventually be stuck at the same cultivation realm. The voice of the other party seemed to contain a mysterious magical power. They could feel that when they were stuck at a certain cultivation realm and couldn't advance any further, that kind of struggle would surely torment them to madness, causing them to gradually lose their patience and lose their original self. Cultivation was truly too difficult. With their talent, breaking through to Immortal Foundation wasn't a problem. But what about Immortal Kings and Immortal Emperors? When they were stuck at the same cultivation realm for 100,000 years or 1,000,000 years, what would happen? It was simply unimaginable for those major characters in the immortal realms. What kind of mental struggle and tempering did they have to experience before they could achieve a state of tranquility? Most probably, all of them had great willpower and conviction to support them. The final lecture of the Tiandao Sacred Academy didn't involve the cultivation of the great Tao like before. Instead, it started from the topic of death, from the state of one's heart, gradually drawing the attention of the audience, causing them to sink into it. Chapter 12-13. This lesson was very long, from death to the state of heart, and back to cultivation. The sky-connecting realm brought them through the astral river. Even if they closed their eyes to comprehend, they could still sense the incomparably majestic and tyrannical laws in the outside world. They felt like they were roaming through the starry space, like a dream. It was unknown how much time passed. 50 years in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, a total of 50 years. When the figures opened their eyes, they no longer saw the starry space, only the immortal sea. They sat on a boat formed from immortal energy, floating on the immortal sea. A formless wind blew, bringing them to the shore of the immortal sea. Over there, was the path they came from. Qin Wentian seemed to have sensed something. He opened his eyes and glanced at his surroundings with a smile on his face. Qing'er and Qingcheng were both beside him. This dream is truly long, it feels like many years have passed. Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. Qingcheng's cultivation base was already at the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation while he and Qing'er were already at the 7th level. In addition, his Immortal Foundation was brimming with immortal energy. That Immortal Foundation of his was even more crystalline than before, shining with a perfect luster. The immortal energy flowing through it was many times stronger compared to before. This time around, it wasn't as simple as an increase in cultivation base. Staring ahead, the waves of the immortal sea slammed into the shore, emitting rumbling sounds. Numerous figures stood up and stared ahead, feeling great waves in their hearts. The 50 years in the Tiandao Sacred Academy was like a dream. During these 50 years, their improvements were extremely great. This was especially so for those whose cultivation bases were lower when they entered the Sacred Academy. Their improvements were the most obvious. On the contrary, for those with higher cultivation bases, it was extremely difficult for them to take that final step. For example, for 9th-level Immortal Foundation experts, if they wanted to advance, they could only comprehend the might of an Immortal King. But many failed to do so. This step was simply too difficult to take. However, in the last lecture given by the Sacred Academy, there were many 9th-level Immortal Foundation experts who took that final step. It was like the life and death battle in the sky connecting realm, as well as the journey in the starry space, were all prepared for this, allowing some people to get closer to the Immortal King realm. The people of the 9 Emperors Immortal State, the White Tiger people, and the other cultivators were unusually quiet at this moment. They didn't fight with each other. They walked forward indifferently towards the celestial shore. There was the exit that they came from. In the outside world, in 9 Tripod City, the surroundings of the entrance to the Sacred Academy were no longer as majestic as they were in the past. After all, at that time, the Sacred Academy was recruiting students and experts from all over the immortal realms came. But as time flowed by, regardless of whether it was the spectators or the experts from the various powers, they all left. However, there were still experts stationed here to guard the entrance, preparing to welcome the people who exited the Sacred Academy. To those at the Immortal King realm and above, even 100 years was considered a very short period of time. They would just treat it as tempering themselves in the 9 Tripod City. But even so, at the entrance of the Sacred Academy, there would still be experts coming over to check if there were any new movements. And at this moment, at the entrance of the Sacred Academy, a bright light fluctuated as a figure stepped out. This figure was incomparably lofty and had golden eyes. It was none other than Jia Nantian, exuding an incomparable aura. At the instant he appeared, numerous gazes turned over as their hearts trembled. Someone walked out from the Sacred Academy. Waves of fluctuations rang out as numerous figures walked out from the Sacred Academy. At this moment, everyone turned their gazes in this direction. From afar, there were experts who sensed the commotion here and all of them rushed over here as well. Bzz. Abruptly, an intense gust of wind swept through the air. After that, a terrifying great rock appeared in the air. He stared at Jia Nantian and the others as he smiled. "Nantian, you guys have finally come out." The surrounding space trembled violently, forming a terrifying hurricane. Numerous figures directly appeared here, staring at the young geniuses who walked out from the Sacred Academy. These people were all the elders of these geniuses and were active in the 9 Tripod City. Their immortal senses were constantly scanning the area and they would rush over to welcome them the moment they discovered something. "Huh, children, you guys have finally come out." An explosive voice rang out in the air. An expert exuding a terrifying aura appeared. In the center of his brows, there was an imprint of a king. This was none other than a fearsome tiger king. On the other side, a human emperor figure appeared in the air, exuding an incomparably imposing aura. He had a crown on his head and exuded an aura of absolute domination. This was none other than a supreme existence of the 9 Emperors' immortal state. Shatian, invincible. This expert stared at Huang Shatian and Huang Wudi as a smile appeared on his face. He then continued to stare at the figures who walked out. In another direction, Nanfeng Guhong quietly stood there, smiling as she stared at the figures who walked out. The experts of the various powers have all arrived. When Qin Wentian and the others walked out, they glanced at the surroundings. Emperor Qianbian appeared there, smiling at Qin Wentian and the others. The immortal Qianbian Gate was a newly risen power. In truth, only a few of those who entered the Sacred Academy were from the immortal Qianbian Gate. The vast majority of them were sent by the Heavenly Talisman realm to cultivate in the immortal Qianbian Gate. Right now, Bai Wuya and the other immortal kings had also entered the sacred academy and entered a different dimension. Hence, the person who came from the immortal Qianbian gate was none other than the Emperor Qianbian himself. There are so many terrifying major characters. The experts from the 9-tripod city all felt their hearts trembling when they saw the scene in the air. There were close to 20,000 geniuses from all over the immortal realms. There were simply too many major powers standing behind them. These major powers all sent their people over. Emperor Lord Qin Wentian and the others sped towards the Emperor Qianbian. Not bad. The Emperor Qianbian smiled and nodded. Qin Wentian actually broke through to the 7th level of Immortal Foundation. Such improvement in a short 50 years was truly terrifying. Where are Yudi and Deng Tian? At this moment, the major characters from the 9 Emperors' immortal state couldn't find Huang Yudi's silhouette. He had always liked to follow behind Huang Shatian. But even after so many experts walked out, there was still no sign of Huang Yudi. Roar! A low-sounding bestial roar rang out as a fearsome pressure instantly permeated the air. Over at the side of the White Tiger people, Bai Mao and the others told the major characters that those white tigers who didn't manage to walk out were all killed by the human Wuxia. Similarly, over at the side of the Namhuang clan, the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan took out the nirvanic blood of several holy maidens and passed it to Nanfeng Guhong. Nanfeng Guhong's eyes turned exceptionally cold as a stifling heat permeated the air, enveloping the entire space. Following that, the experts of the various powers all unleashed their terrifying auras. In an instant, everyone felt that something was wrong. If the experts of the various powers were to fight here, and if they didn't restrain themselves, the entire 9-tripod city would be destroyed, and the people would be plunged into misery and suffering. A towering baleful aura gushed forth, gushing towards the experts of the Namhuang clan. Nanfeng Guhong took a step forward, enveloping all the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan. Her cold eyes stared at the white tiger as she coldly spoke, "A bunch of vile beasts. How dare you?" White Tiger roared in a deep voice. His roar resounded through the world, causing everyone's eardrums to tremble. That human emperor from the 9 Emperors' immortal state turned his gaze in the direction of Qing'er and Qin Wentian as he coldly spoke, "Daughter of the evergreen immortal state, are you the one who killed Yudi? He deserved to die." Qing'er icily replied. The eyes of that human emperor flashed with a terrifying might. Deserved to die? Do you know who you are talking to? That human emperor's aura gushed forth, enveloping Qing'er. The sacred academy has always been a tempering ground for the juniors. This is a battle between juniors. Aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by the juniors by interfering like this? A voice drifted over from the void. Instantly, the experts of the 9 Emperors' immortal state all felt a terrifying pressure descending from the heavens, enveloping everyone, including that human emperor. That human emperor inclined his head, but he had no way to sense his exact location. He naturally deserved to die. Another voice rang out. Another powerful female appeared. The people of Matriarch Ji's sect all flew over as they respectfully greeted, second senior sister. This female who appeared was none other than the strongest disciple under GD. She was an immortal emperor-ranked disciple and was a famous character in the eastern regions. At the exit of the sacred academy, the entire space was in chaos. Who here didn't have a background? If a battle really erupted here, the juniors of both sides would surely die. If immortal emperors wanted to kill an Immortal Foundation character, they only needed to move their fingers. Nobody could stop the other side from killing their juniors. Everyone fell silent. A battle between peak powers of the immortal realms was something that all experts had to be wary of, even for immortal emperors. If it's just a life-and-death battle, it doesn't matter. However, there's someone who dared to feast on the flesh of our white tiger people after their deaths. How can we not kill such a character? It's none other than that Qin Wentian. He gave the order, we have to kill him no matter what. Bai Mao pointed in the direction of Qin Wentian. The person the White Tiger people hated the most, was undoubtedly Qin Wentian. Today, with so many experts here, it was impossible to deal with all of them. In that case, they could only choose a single target, Qin Wentian. That's right, this man is despicable and shameless. He was the one who acted first. If it wasn't for him, so many geniuses wouldn't have died. We have to kill him no matter what. An expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom pointed at Qin Wentian. Gu Shao of my Supreme Sword School died precisely because of him. Someone from the Supreme Sword School lied. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with coldness. The hatred these people had for him was truly deep. All of them wanted to kill him and claim his life. Entering the Tiandao Sacred Academy together with people like you is the greatest humiliation to me, Qin Wentian. You guys have brought shame to the two words geniuses. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. You failed to kill my senior brother and were killed instead. Now, you guys are slandering my senior brother for being despicable. Isn't this a fair battle? Jun Mingchen roared. Back then when Huang Shatian was at the 9th level of Immortal Foundation, he fought to a draw with my senior brother. Do you really need to surround and kill those trash who died? The White Tiger people have always wanted to humiliate our sisters from the Namhuang clan. Their words are simply, if our sisters landed in their hands, I wonder what these bastards would do. This is why all of our sisters spared no expense to absorb nirvanic blood so that they wouldn't fall into their hands. These vile creatures deserve to die. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan spoke to Nanfeng Guhong. Chapter 12-14. Nanfeng Guhong's eyes were cold as she stared at the White Tiger people. In a radius of a few thousand miles, the temperature seemed to have risen. Second senior sister, junior sister Yunshang was killed by Huang Yudi of the 9 Emperors Immortal State. A disciple of GD coldly spoke. If it wasn't for Qin Wentian acting, most probably only a few from our Namhuang clan would be able to leave the Tiandao Sacred Academy alive. It's the same for us as well. Mo Zian spoke. Back then in that battle, if Qin Wentian didn't block Huang Shatian, who would be able to survive? Numerous voices rang out. Everyone could already imagine the cruelty of the battle in the Sacred Academy. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan, the disciples of GD, all of them were almost buried there. The princes of the 9 Emperors Immortal State were killed, the greater demons of the White Tiger people were roasted alive. This battle must have been extremely shocking. There were also many geniuses from the myriad Devil Islands who entered the Sacred Academy. Hence, there were many powerful devil cultivators here. At this moment, a terrifying devil emperor stared at everyone and laughed. Do you people of the immortal realms really like to talk nonsense? Since there's a life and death grudge, just directly start a war and kill the other party. What's the point of a war of words? Those who were killed were all the most outstanding geniuses among your juniors. This fellow. The expressions of everyone froze. The devil cultivators of the myriad devil islands probably wanted nothing more than to cause chaos in the immortal realms. However, starting a war was easier said than done. Once the matter implicated the peak powers of the immortal realms, even the violent White Tiger people wouldn't dare to start an immortal war of this level. None of the major powers would dare to say that they would be able to endure the consequences. The demon emperors of the White Tiger people didn't dare to act recklessly. Since Nanfeng Guhong was enraged, she wouldn't act recklessly as well. I heard that the immortal Qianbian Gate of the eastern regions is a power that was established less than 100 years ago. Right now, they are still fighting against the Dongshengshan Gate. At the same time, the Evergreen Kingdom is facing the adjudication from the various eastern regions. The human emperor of the 9 Emperors Immortal State suddenly spoke. His gaze landed on the Emperor Qianbian. I suggest that the immortal Qianbian Gate hand him over to us. After all, external powers don't belong to you. What power could the immortal Qianbian Gate be? A power that was established less than 100 years ago, even if they had an immortal emperor, they still dared to stand against the Nine Emperors' immortal empire, protecting the people they wanted. The Evergreen Kingdom had experienced internal turmoil and was heavily injured. Their strength was limited as well. What qualifications did they have to challenge the Nine Emperors' immortal state? The Nam Huang clan had been rooted in the southern regions for countless years. Their roots were extremely deep and they were extremely powerful. But that was a power that belonged to the Nam Huang clan. Could it be that if they wanted to touch the immortal Qianbian Gate, the Nam Huang clan would start a war against the Nine Emperors' immortal state? This sounded like a joke. The immortal Qianbian Gate? I've never heard of this power before. The demon emperor of the White Tiger people had a strange look in his eyes as he stared in the direction of the Emperor Qianbian. The actions of the Nine Emperors' immortal state and the White Tiger people are truly disappointing. The Emperor Qianbian coldly replied. Seems like you guys have made your choice. You would rather protect an immortal Foundation character. In that case, we shall part ways here today. We shall meet again in the future. As the sound of his voice faded, a bright light radiated from him, enveloping the geniuses of the Nine Emperors' immortal state. After that, his silhouette flashed as he directly departed. It was impossible for them to start a war here today. They would discuss what to do after they returned to the immortal empire. Let's go. The demon emperor of the White Tiger people let out a low roar. After that, he led his experts away. Eastern regions, see you again. The experts of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Supreme Sword School stared in the direction of Qin Wentian and Qing'er. Evidently, this matter was far from over. The verdict of the immortal realms had yet to be decided. Up till now, the Chongqing the Great had yet to hand over the person. Since the immortal realms adjudication was initiated, they naturally had to come up with a conclusion. Let's return as well. Emperor Qianbian spoke to Qin Wentian and the others. Qin Wentian nodded. He turned to Qing'er, what about you? I will follow senior sister back to master's place. This way, we can use the formation to return home anytime we want. Qing'er spoke in a light voice. The commotion this time was caused by her. Her senior sister lost her life because of this. She naturally had to return to her sect and report this to her master. If her master wanted to punish her, she could accept it. Okay. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded. GD was a peak-stage immortal emperor in the immortal realms. If Qing'er returned to her sect, Qin Wentian would naturally be at ease. Take good care of yourself. Qin Wentian instructed. Qing'er replied in a melodious voice. Take good care of Qingqing. After that, she nodded lightly to Qingqing before flying towards the direction of GD's followers. Wentian. Nam Huang Yunshi glanced in Qin Wentian's direction. She spoke with worry, the White Tiger people are from the demonic race. Their actions are extremely tyrannical and don't abide by the rules. You have to be careful. That's right. They most probably won't let this matter rest so easily. This grudge has already been formed between us. The holy maiden of the Nam Huang clan had a cold look on her face. After she returned, she would definitely cultivate well. Holy maidens, take care. Qin Wentian clasped his hands to the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan. After that, both parties bid their farewells. Brother Qin, if you have meat to eat in the future, remember to share it with us. In another direction, Wuxia and his two companions were surrounded by several senior monks. Qin Wentian stared at Wuxia's shameless expression and laughed. Between brothers, we naturally have to share our joys and sorrows. If there's meat, let's meet again. Okay, Brother Qin, remember what you said. Wuxia's eyes shone brightly. White tiger meat, he hadn't had enough of it. Naturally. Qin Wentian then clasped his hands towards Buyu and Buchan. Many thanks to the two reverends for taking care of me in the sacred academy. In the future, if there's any need, I, Qin, will definitely heed your summons. Amitba. Buyu pressed his palms together and thanked Qin Wentian. Buchan nodded his head. Buddhist light shone and the senior monks from Wenqin Temple left. Experts from all directions left one after another. There were people from Zidi, Dongshengshan Gate, Lightning God Hall, Snowdrift Sage Hall, and Chu Qingyi. Before they left, they didn't forget to look at that figure. The people from the Immortal Qianbian Gate soared into the air and left. In the direction of the Jiang clan, Jiang Ziyu had a smile on his face. This Qin Wentian really didn't disappoint him. His growth speed was terrifying. The experts of the myriad Devil Islands and the priestess of the Judiciary Devil Hall turned her gaze towards the direction where the Immortal Qianbian Gate left. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a hint of reluctance. "Let's go," a demon emperor with a terrifying aura said, and they all left one after another. A storm arose and dissipated. But this was also within expectations. With so many immortal emperors around, it was impossible for such a huge battle to erupt. The implications were too great, and if they didn't control it well, it might cause a huge commotion. As for those immortal kings who haven't come out yet, they naturally didn't need reinforcements. They were already powerful existences, and after they left the Sacred Academy, they would surely grow even stronger. In the Immortal Qianbian Gate, Qin Wentian stared at the familiar palaces as a smile flashed in his eyes. He would be able to reunite with his old friends again. Although a storm might erupt at any moment, at the very least, he would be able to enjoy some peace and quiet. The path of cultivation was arduous and time was incomparably precious. However, cultivating in the Sacred Academy for 50 years had caused his state of mind to be extremely tense. He also needed some time to relax. "Emperor Lord, I will return to take a look first." Qin Wentian clasped his hands as he spoke. "Okay, you should rest well for a period of time. If there's any news outside, I will naturally inform you." The Emperor of Qianbian spoke. "Many thanks, Emperor Lord." Qin Wentian brought Mo Qingqing and the others back to their palaces. Time flowed by. It has already been 50 years since they started cultivating in the Sacred Academy. He didn't know if everyone was doing well or not. Just when Qin Wentian was about to pay his respects to his foster father and the others, he saw that there were already people coming over, knowing that he and Qingqing had returned. "Master." A smile appeared on Mo Qingqing's face when she saw the Medicine Sovereign. "Senior Medicine Sovereign." Qin Wentian bowed. "I was still worried that Qingqing would encounter some trouble on her way to look for you. Seeing that she has returned safely, I can finally set my heart at ease." The Medicine Sovereign smiled. "Wentian, the time you spent outside this time was really long." Yi Qingyun's silhouette appeared. During this period of time, Yi Qingyun had been in closed-door seclusion, trying to break through to Immortal Foundation. "Foster father, Sis Lingshuang." Qin Wentian was naturally happy in his heart when he saw his foster father and Yi Lingshuang. "Ha!" A carefree laughter rang out. His father Qin Chuan, Sis Qin Yao and the others also came over. His teacher Mustang and senior sister Luo Huan were also there. "You seem to have become more handsome." Luo Huan walked to the side of Qin Wentian, her body almost sticking to Qin Wentian. Her fingers hooked onto Qin Wentian's chin, causing Qin Wentian to not know whether to laugh or cry. "Senior sister, please spare me. Tell me, what is your current cultivation base?" A strange light flashed in Luo Huan's eyes. "In the Immortal Foundation realm, I should be considered one of the more powerful ones." Qin Wentian joked. When he was together with his family, he was completely different from the outside world. He was very relaxed. "More powerful?" Luo Huan mumbled. Several figures from the Battle Sword sect flew over, causing Qin Wentian to be taken aback. The people of the Battle Sword sect didn't want to rely on him too much, hence many of them were out tempering themselves. Duan Han, Ji Feishue, Lu Bingyu, and the others all appeared in the crowd. In addition, their cultivation bases were already very high, incomparable to the past. It was just that they were all stuck at the celestial phenomenon realm, unable to step into the immortal foundation realm. Qin Wentian was prepared to baptize everyone this time around. Wentian, you came back at the right time. Senior brother Lin Shuai is about to get married. Duan Han walked over and smiled at Qin Wentian. Senior brother Lin Shuai is about to get married? A look of joy flashed in Qin Wentian's eyes. Many years ago when he first stepped into the royal sacred region, it was senior brother Lin Shuai who brought him to the battle sword sect and took care of him. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, so many years had passed? Senior brother Lin Shuai had also found the person he loved. He naturally felt happy for his senior brother. Which maiden is so lucky to be able to marry someone as outstanding as senior brother Lin Shuai? Qin Wentian smiled. Senior brother Lin Shuai got acquainted with her when he was tempering himself outside. She lives in the Cloud Prefecture and is a very good maiden. Yi Lingshuang was also very happy. Senior brother Lin Shuai was like an elder brother to her. Where is senior brother? Qin Wentian asked. Why isn't he around? He's at the maiden's place, he's busy preparing for the wedding. The Cloud Prefecture is so vast, it's not easy for him to make a trip back. We came back to make preparations but we didn't expect to meet you here. Everyone laughed. Qin Wentian scratched his head. That's right, how vast was the Cloud Prefecture? Even for Immortal Foundation experts, it was considered extremely vast. There were many people who wouldn't even be able to walk out of the city even if they spent their entire lives. It was just that Qin Wentian was used to seeing experts and had traveled to many places in the immortal realms. Hence, he didn't realize how significant the Cloud Prefecture was to Wu Xiu who was below the Immortal Foundation realm. Chapter 12-15. In the Namhuang clan, Nanfeng Guhong brought the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan back to this ancient clan that had existed for countless years. Within a majestic ancient hall, many experts were gathered there. These were the elders of the holy maidens, as well as some elders of the southern Phoenix clan. At this moment, a beam of phoenix light could be seen floating above the ancient hall, forming the shadow of a few phoenixes. However, within the shadow, there were a few drops of nirvanic blood. Other than this, the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan whose cultivation base was crippled was also present. This time around, the Namhuang clan's losses were extremely great. This time around, everything started because of Yunshi. Because of Qin Wentian, the situation worsened, leading to this war. Regardless of the 9 emperors' immortal state or the White Tiger people, both sides suffered losses. But this was merely a battle between the juniors of the Sacred Academy. Do you all have any objections? Nanfeng Guhong asked. She was an immortal emperor expert and was also the Dao protector of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. Her status in the Namhuang clan was extremely high. If it was a battle, it's fine. But the White Tiger people are too evil. You can only blame yourselves for not having a high enough cultivation base. If not, you can roast all the White Tiger people in the Sacred Academy and eat them. That can be considered as revenge. An elder coldly spoke, causing the experts of the Namhuang clan to lower their heads. That's right. After all, this was a battle between juniors of the Sacred Academy. We suffered losses but they also ate the meat of the White Tigers. Both sides have no reason to start a war and will only stop here. Another person spoke. It wasn't good for the Namhuang clan to do anything to the Namhuang clan, but they also believed that the White Tiger people wouldn't dare to do anything to the Namhuang clan. The person who spoke earlier nodded lightly. In the future when you all roam the immortal realms, just kill a few more White Tigers. There's no need to be polite. It's just a pity for these lasses. I wonder if they can recover from their injuries. Elders, Yunshi has a matter to report. Nanfeng Yunshi bowed slightly as she spoke to everyone. Yunshi, speak. Nanfeng Guhong glanced at her. I got acquainted with Qin Wentian in the city of ancient emperors. Back then, during the tempering exercise in the city of ancient emperors, Qin Wentian obtained a secret art to cultivate his immortal foundation. Wait. Before Nam Huang Yunshi could finish speaking, Nanfeng Guhong interrupted her. She turned her gaze onto everyone as a heavy look could be seen in her eyes. Everyone here is the most direct descendant of my Nam Huang clan. What Yunshi has said, no one is allowed to leak out. Yes. Everyone nodded, they could also faintly sense the meaning behind Nam Huang Yunshi's words. Immortal Foundation. No wonder Qin Wentian, Jun Mengchen, Nam Huang Yunshi and the rest all had perfect immortal foundations. In truth, many people had their own guesses. Now that Nam Huang Yunshi took the initiative to speak, they naturally understood. This secret art was obtained by Qin Wentian. Although Yunshi has cultivated it, without Qin Wentian's permission, it's not appropriate for Yunshi to impart it to the rest of the clan. Nam Huang Yunshi continued. Many people frowned, feeling somewhat unhappy. Such a precious secret art, since Nam Huang Yunshi obtained it, she should be the first to hand it over. This was simply too unreasonable. This time around in the Sacred Academy, Qin Wentian fought side by side with my Nam Huang clan. He told Yunshi that I can hand over the secret art. Nam Huang Yunshi spoke. Yunshi, well done. The experts here all had smiles on their faces. With such a secret art, in the future, the younger generations of the Nam Huang clan would surely grow stronger. In the future, there would be a golden age. They were all extremely powerful cultivators, they naturally understood how precious this secret art was. It's just that Yunshi has a request. Nam Huang Yunshi bowed. What's the matter? This secret art was obtained by Qin Wentian. Back then, because I fought side by side with him, he unconditionally allowed me to cultivate it. Yunshi has already been indebted to him. After that, Qin Wentian assisted Yunshi in seizing the position of the holy successor, allowing her to meet with the Phoenix ancestor, establishing a perfect immortal foundation. If not, Yunshi wouldn't have the status she has today. In addition, this secret art can even allow her to establish a saint-grade immortal foundation. Although Qin Wentian didn't make any requests, my Nam Huang clan is filled with gratitude. Just like what the elders have said, the 9 emperors' immortal state and the White Tiger people won't declare war against my Nam Huang clan. However, they might act against the immortal Qianbian Gate and Qin Wentian. I hope that the Nam Huang clan can stand firmly by Qin Wentian's side and protect him. Yunshi. An elder stared at Nam Huang Yunshi. You are the holy successor of our Nam Huang clan. In the future, you have a chance to inherit the position of the Southern Matriarch. Whatever you do, you have to prioritize the benefits of the Nam Huang clan. Relationships between men and women should be placed aside. Yunshi will listen to your teachings. Nam Huang Yunshi bowed and nodded. Although she was the holy successor and had a high status, this matter might implicate an emperor-level battle. Clearly, it wasn't beneficial for the Nam Huang clan to have a battle of this level for the sake of an immortal foundation junior. Yunshi's words are also for the sake of the Nam Huang clan. In the Sacred Academy, Qin Wentian's improvement can be said to be the greatest. He could even fight against a peak-level immortal foundation expert, Huang Shatian. If an ancient emperor is to emerge from the Sacred Academy, wouldn't it be him? If our Nam Huang clan had helped an ancient emperor when he was young, maybe in the future, our Nam Huang clan would be able to stand tall for all eternity. Qin Wentian is willing to take out such a precious secret art. The Nam Huang clan should be filled with gratitude. However, just like what you said, he has the potential to become an ancient emperor. Do you know that if an ancient emperor wanted to stand at the peak of the immortal realms, how many enemies would he have to face in the future? Our Nam Huang clan should help him, but we have to control our strength. If not, our Nam Huang clan might not be able to wait until he stands at the peak before we are destroyed. Nanfeng Guhong spoke. Everyone nodded. The rise of an ancient emperor was built on the bones of 10,000 people. In the future, it was unknown how many terrifying enemies there would be. In addition, no matter how good one's talent was, the hope of standing at the peak was incomparably minuscule. The immortal realms weren't as peaceful as it appeared on the surface. Nanfeng Guhong didn't mind helping Qin Wentian. She had indeed helped him before. But if it really might affect the fate of the Nam Huang clan, she would immediately let go. Yunshi understands, I will naturally hand over the secret art. It's just that I hope that seniors will remember that this secret art can only be cultivated by those with extremely powerful physiques or they wouldn't be able to endure it. Nam Huang Yunshi nodded. Also, Qin Wentian wants Yunshi to pass a message to all of you. Experts of the immortal realms, I have a deep connection with the Nam Huang clan. I hope that we can maintain our friendship. This time, I'm offering the secret art to all of you, hoping that it would be of use to all of you who are injured. In the future, I, Qin, will give all of you a huge gift. As the sound of his voice faded, the entire place fell silent. Nanfeng Guhong's eyes gleamed with sharpness. After that, a radiant smile appeared on her face as she stared at Nam Huang Yunshi. This friend of yours is getting smarter and smarter. Nam Huang Yunshi was speechless. Back then in the Sacred Academy, she had a conversation with Qin Wentian. In truth, the situation today was something that Qin Wentian had already guessed. She initially thought that the two of them were already allies. But in reality, why would an ancient and powerful peak power form an alliance with an Immortal Foundation character? Their relationship as allies was simply too unequal. Qin Wentian would definitely hand over the secret art. In truth, a treasure like the Immortal Slaying Platform was sufficient to exchange for the friendship of a supreme power. However, a friendship without benefits would be extremely fragile. There was no need to mention the relationship between Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunshi. He had also established a good relationship with the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan in the Sacred Academy. However, the ones in power were those lofty emperors of the Nam Huang clan. How would they care about the friendship between juniors? During these days, Qin Wentian was busy helping his kin improve their physiques and imparting immortal arts that were suitable for them. He didn't personally experience what happened in the Nam Huang clan's ancient hall, but he could guess some things. Originally, he didn't intend to let Nam Huang Yunshi pass on the last sentence. At that time, he only told Nam Huang Yunshi to pass on the secret art to the Nam Huang clan. Nam Huang Yunshi was very grateful and told him that even if he left the Sacred Academy, the Nam Huang clan would definitely protect him. At that time, he smiled carelessly and chatted with Nam Huang Yunshi about many things, including that even if he left the Sacred Academy, the Nam Huang clan would be fine, but at least the various powers in the Eastern Immortal region would not let him and Qin go. The White Tiger people might also interfere. They had all talked about this before. Nam Huang Yunshi had always firmly believed that if this was the case, the Nam Huang clan would definitely act. This was why Qin Wentian smiled and told her that if the truth was different from what she thought, she should pass on the last sentence. When she said this, Nam Huang Yunshi was still somewhat unhappy. But in the end, Nam Huang Yunshi discovered that Qin Wentian was right. Her view of this world changed again. Maybe, this was growth. At this moment, in the airspace above the Cloud Prefecture, a group of experts soared through the air. Little Rascal transformed into a gigantic rock, his speed was many times faster compared to ordinary immortal weapons. Why is senior brother Lin Shuai's wedding location set at the bride's residence? Qin Wentian sat on Little Rascal's back. Beside him were Mo Qingcheng, Yi Lingshuang, and Qin Yao. All of them were preparing to go over to support their senior brother Lin Shuai. Little Yi is the golden daughter of the Qin clan. The Qin clan naturally can't be compared to the immortal Qianbian Gate, but they can still be considered a prominent clan in the Cloud Prefecture. There are many Immortal Foundation experts in their clan, and it's said that there was even an Immortal King among them. But our Battle Sword sect. Senior brother Lin Shuai can't possibly use the tiger's skin and use the Immortal Qianbian Gate as his wedding location, right? This isn't your wedding and we can't even be considered disciples of the Immortal Qianbian Gate. Hence, senior brother Lin Shuai didn't mention this to the Qin clan. Ling Shuang, there's no need to give face to my Battle Sword sect. Wentian, what she said is right. A power like our Battle Sword sect would really have wronged Lin Shuai. The old ancestor of the Battle Sword sect shook his head. Qin Wentian had a bitter smile on his face. In truth, as long as senior brother Lin Shuai said the word, he would naturally help to handle this matter. But he also understood that senior brother Lin Shuai had his own pride and self-esteem. He couldn't possibly tell the Qin clan that his junior brother was a heaven chosen of the Immortal Qianbian Gate. What would that count as? His junior brother was only his junior brother. The Immortal Qianbian Gate wasn't his sect, and his parents and elders weren't part of it. Only if they are strong enough would it work. Qin Wentian sighed. He was very carefree in the Immortal Qianbian Gate, but in truth, these relatives of his didn't have much of a sense of belonging. And it was precisely because of this reason that even Lin Shuai's wedding was held at the bride's residence. Although senior brother Lin Shuai was magnanimous and wouldn't mind, he was afraid that the people of the Qin clan would look down on him because of this. Chapter 12:16. The Qin clan had resided in the Cloud Prefecture city for generations, and was considered a prominent clan. Although it couldn't be considered a power of the upper echelons, at least as long as they didn't offend a celestial king-tier powerhouse, they wouldn't have to worry about survival. As for Immortal King-level characters, they naturally wouldn't dare to antagonize them. The major powers that settled down in the Immortal Realms were all very cautious, especially in a capital city like the Cloud Prefecture. Today was the wedding day of the Qin clan's daughter, Qin Yi, and it was especially lively. Many guests arrived one after another. These were all the relatives and friends of the Qin clan. They had been rooted in the Cloud State City for many years, and through marriage or apprenticeship, they had a wide network of friends and had long become part of the Cloud State City. Congratulations, little E. A magnificent scene could be seen in the sky. Great demons came whistling over. Winged pure white snow lion king, irascible giant eagles, and flying beasts pulled carriages in the sky. They all landed on the ground and congratulated the people who welcomed them. Elder brother, congratulations. A young man walked over with a smile. Huiyan, don't stand on ceremony. Hurry up and go in with Shuai. The young man who came to greet them smiled and shook his head. The people who came were his younger sister and brother-in-law. If his younger sister, Qin Yi, also had someone like Huiyan, he would feel at ease. After all, the Hua clan was a prestigious clan that was on par with their Qin clan. To ordinary people, if a clan had many Immortal Foundation experts, or even peak-level Immortal Foundation characters, it would already be considered a prestigious clan. After all, Immortal Kings were already considered characters with nobility. They were so lofty that it wasn't easy to come into contact with them. As more and more guests entered, Huiyan looked at his wife, Qin Shuai, and asked, "Today is little Yi's wedding day. Why does elder brother seem so unhappy? Are you asking the obvious?" Qin Shuai glared at Huiyan as she spoke. Father and the elders of the clan didn't agree to this marriage, but they couldn't change little Yi's mind. This lassa's talent is extremely good and there's a high chance that she would be able to step into the Immortal Foundation realm in the future. Although the talent of the man she fancied isn't weak, he doesn't have any background. How can he roam the Immortal realms freely? Otherwise, they wouldn't have held a wedding banquet in my Qin family. If this Lin Shuai had the same level of power as the Hua clan, he wouldn't have ended up like this. Qin Shuai shook her head. A hint of pride flashed in Huiyan's eyes as he felt a sense of superiority. The figure of an extremely beautiful woman appeared in his mind. It was his wife, Chen Shui's younger sister, Chen Yi. His sister-in-law was younger and more beautiful than his wife. Unfortunately, the man she was going to marry was not good. The Chen manor was bustling with noise and excitement, but the guests were all snickering in their hearts. Their daughter was getting married, yet they were holding a banquet at home. This Chen family was quite interesting. Outside the Chen mansion, Qin Wentian and the rest had already landed on the ground before arriving. After all, this was senior brother Lin Shuai's wedding, and Qin Wentian was still very careful. Naturally, he had to show respect to the Qin clan. If he directly rode on a demonic beast, it would be somewhat disrespectful. Because there were many people coming from the void, no one noticed Qin Wentian and the others. It was not until they walked into the Chen clan that Chen Yi's brother, Chen Ao, saw them and asked with a smile, "You are?" "We are from Lin Shuai's sect and specially came here to congratulate him. I'm his master." Sword Sovereign Ling Tian spoke. Chen Ao stared at Sword Sovereign Ling Tian in front of him. He actually didn't exude any immortal might at all. Lin Shuai's master was only a character at the celestial phenomenon realm. Chen Ao couldn't help but feel greatly disappointed. "Uncle Fong, welcome." Chen Ao walked past Sword Sovereign Ling Tian, abandoning them as he went to welcome another group of people. Sword Sovereign Ling Tian's countenance instantly turned incredibly unsightly, as though he was extremely unhappy. The person getting married today was his disciple, yet the people of the Chen clan actually had such an attitude. The old ancestor of the Battle Sword sect walked over and patted his shoulder. "Today, we are here to congratulate you. Let's enter." Everyone entered. Qin Wentian, Mo Qingcheng and the rest walked at the back of the crowd, inconspicuously inconspicuous. Qin Wentian furrowed his brows as he shook his head lightly. As expected, this was a situation he didn't want to see. However, this was only normal. Naturally, as long as his senior brother Lin Shuai didn't mind, he wouldn't have any thoughts about it. He came here today only to offer his blessings. At the location of the banquet, the Chen clan set up a banquet hall that could accommodate thousands of people. The guests were all chatting and laughing, the atmosphere was extremely lively. During the banquet, there were many people serving delicacies and wine for everyone to enjoy. Qin Wentian and the others gathered in a corner, quietly keeping a low profile. But very swiftly, they caused a huge commotion. This commotion naturally wasn't caused by Qin Wentian or those from the Battle Sword sect. Rather, it was because of the beauty of the maidens. This was especially so for Mo Qingcheng. She was like the most dazzling female lead in the crowd, it was very hard not to notice her. Not to mention, Purgatory, Qin Yao, Luo Huan, Lu Bingyu and the others beside her. Although their beauty was inferior to Mo Qingcheng, they were all extraordinary beauties as well. Who are these people? Hui Yan lifted his wine cup, his gaze directly landing on Mo Qingcheng as he asked Chen Shui who was beside him. "I'm not sure." Chen Shui furrowed her brows. At this moment, there was already someone walking towards Qin Wentian and the others. That person smiled and asked, "Uncle Chen, are you not going to introduce these guests to us?" A middle-aged man who was chatting with some old men turned his gaze over. But at this moment, Lin Shuai's silhouette suddenly appeared. He walked to the front of the crowd and bowed, "Old ancestor, master, please forgive this disciple for not being able to welcome you personally. Lin Shuai, today is your wedding day, there's no need to care about us." The old ancestor of the Battle Sword sect straightforwardly spoke. Lin Shuai's wife, Chen Yi, pays her respects to all the elders. The maiden beside Lin Shuai was clad in a luxurious red phoenix feather robe, exuding a sense of nobility and elegance. "Right, Lin Shuai, treat Miss Little Yi well." The old ancestor of the Battle Sword sect happily nodded his head. "Senior brother, congratulations." The disciples of the Battle Sword sect all smiled as they congratulated Lin Shuai. Qin Wentian pulled Mo Qingqing over as he smiled. Senior brother Lin, this junior brother is here to drink a cup of wine. You wouldn't mind, right? Junior brother Qin, you've actually returned. Senior brother is naturally happy that you can come together with Qingqing. Lin Shuai's smile was sincere. Back then, it was him who guided Qin Wentian into the battle sword sect. During the battle against Grand Shang, Qin Wentian had displayed extraordinary talent. But at that time, Lin Shuai would never have imagined that Qin Wentian would have such accomplishments today. Cultivation was like this. The further one progressed, the more obvious the disparity would be. In the past, the 8 era-suppressing geniuses were all compared together. But now, they were no longer on the same level. Chen Yi's beautiful eyes stared in astonishment at Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing. These two clearly stood out from the crowd. Although they didn't release their auras, just from their demeanor, one could tell that they were extraordinary. In addition, Purgatory, who stood behind Lin Shuai, exuded a unique sense of beauty. It has been so many years since we parted. Who would have thought that I would return just in time for senior brother's wedding? Even if there's a heavenly matter, I will still cast it aside. Qin Wentian smiled. Senior brother, you have to remember that I will forever be your junior brother. Chen Yi didn't understand why Qin Wentian would say such words. But how could Lin Shuai not understand? Right now, regardless of their strength or status, there was a huge disparity between them. It was naturally impossible for their relationship to be as natural as it was in the past. It was very hard for him to treat Qin Wentian as an ordinary junior brother like Duan Han. Qin Wentian was telling him that there was no need to be estranged from him, just like in the past. Lin Shuai, Little E, the two of you go and entertain the guests. We will take care of the food and drinks. The old ancestor of the battle sword sect smiled. Lin Shuai nodded his head lightly. The people of his sect would always be considerate of him. Little E. Chen Shui and Hui Yan walked over. Elder sister, brother-in-law, Chen Yi called out. Little E, you guys go and do your own things. I will entertain the guests on your behalf. Chen Shui smiled. Okay. Chen Yi nodded lightly. Together with Lin Shuai, they went to greet the guests one by one. Chen Shui stared at her younger sister as she shook her head. Little E doesn't know any better. You guys are all elders, why didn't you persuade Lin Shuai? Since his sect is here, why would he still want to hold his wedding in my Qin clan? Do you guys feel that this is good for Lin Shuai? This is Lin Shuai's own decision. We will naturally respect it. Sword Sovereign Ling Tian wasn't in a very good mood today. It was only because this was the day of his disciple's wedding that he endured it. You guys are the ones who know your own limitations. But since this is the case, why didn't you persuade Lin Shuai to leave Little E? Chen Shui lowered her voice as a look of unhappiness could be seen on her face. Lin Shuai and Little E are in love with each other. Since you are Little Yi's elder sister, why do you have to say such words? Yi Lingshuang unhappily spoke. Chen Shui is right. Lin Shuai is a man, how can he make Little E unable to lift her head high? This is simply irresponsible. If the beauties among you all wish to marry, I can introduce them to good men. You wouldn't have to worry about criticism. This is the difference between men and women. Hui Yan's voice was also very soft. He stared at Mo Qingqing, Purgatory, Ruohuan and the others. These women were truly extraordinary. You yourself are merely a wuxiu at the celestial phenomenon realm, yet you keep saying that senior brother Lin Shuai made Little E unable to lift her head high. Those who don't know would think that you are extremely powerful. Qin Wentian glanced at Hui Yan as he similarly lowered his voice. He didn't want to dampen the mood of his senior brother on the day of the wedding. However, the people here were all wuxiu. Although his voice was very soft, it still attracted some attention. Even Lin Shuai seemed to have sensed something. Your words are really funny. Hui Yan faintly spoke. Lin Shuai pulled Chen Yi over as he asked, "What's wrong?" "Nothing much." Hui Yan turned around with a smile on his face. "I'm trying to find out if any of the beauties in your sect are already married. If there aren't any, I might be able to find some good matches among the people here." Although his words sounded like a joke, and if the relationship between both parties was very good, it wouldn't matter. But coming from the mouth of Hui Yan, it was obvious that he was extremely disrespectful to the beauties around Qin Wentian. However, the crowd didn't feel this way. The sect of the Chen clan's son-in-law was so weak, and the banquet was hosted by the Chen clan. If these beauties could hook up with a descendant of the Chen clan, it would definitely be a wonderful thing for them. Hence, many people had expressions of interest on their faces. Chapter 12-17. Nephew Hua's words make sense. To think that there are so many good maidens in Nephew Lin's sect. If there are no marriages, us elders might be able to play matchmaker for them. An elder smiled. "I wonder if this young lady is already married." A young man glanced in the direction of Mo Qingcheng as he inquired. This young man had an elegant demeanor and had an extraordinary background. He should be able to attract Mo Qingcheng's attention. However, Mo Qingcheng didn't even glance at him. She merely held on to Qin Wentian's hand, causing the expression of that young man to stiffen. He naturally understood Mo Qingcheng's meaning. Hui Yan stared at Qin Wentian and Mo Qingcheng as a hint of jealousy flashed in his eyes. At this moment, Lin Shuai walked over. His face was filled with unhappiness. He was very clear of the status of this junior apprentice brother of his. Qin Wentian was someone who could speak on equal terms with immortal kings, and he could even meet with the Emperor Qinbian. These people actually dared to think that they would dare to make a move on Mo Qingcheng. How ridiculous! In addition, the maidens beside Qin Wentian, Purgatory clearly had an extraordinary relationship with Qin Wentian. Qin Yao was Qin Wentian's elder sister, Yi Lingshuang was his foster sister, and Luo Huan was his senior apprentice sister. With Qin Wentian present, how could these people dare to interfere? Even his junior apprentice sister, Lu Bingyu, was a proud and aloof person. How could she possibly be interested in these young men? He knew that the people of the Chen clan didn't regard him highly. But if the guests of the Chen clan wanted to covet the maidens beside Qin Wentian, they were far from qualified. What are you all doing? Today, the people of my sect came here to offer their congratulations, not to look for a husband. Lin Shuai's domineering eyes stared at Hui Yan as he spoke. His relationship with Chen Yi was extremely good, hence, he didn't care if the people of the Chen clan looked up to him or not. This wedding was only to give the Chen clan an explanation. After that, they would leave to temper themselves. He didn't care about the attitude of the Chen clan, but these people were disrespectful to his sect. Lin Shuai, mind your attitude. That's your brother-in-law. Chen Yi's elder brother, Chen Ao, walked over and coldly spoke. Hui Yan smiled at Lin Shuai as though he was watching a play. Everyone also had expressions of interest on their faces. Chen Ao was the elder brother of Lin Shuai and Hui Yan, and he had the same relationship with Lin Shuai and Hui Yan. But at this moment, he was berating Lin Shuai who was about to get married and shielding Hui Yan. From this, one could see the attitude of the Chen clan towards Lin Shuai. Senior brother, it's all right. Qin Wentian smiled. Since today was the wedding day of Lin Shuai and Chen Yi, he naturally didn't want to spoil the mood of the crowd. At the very least, he couldn't let Lin Shuai and the Chen clan fall out. If that happened, both senior brother Lin Shuai and Chen Yi would be in a difficult position. Junior brother Qin. Lin Shuai turned his gaze onto Qin Wentian, only to see Qin Wentian lightly nodding his head as he transmitted his voice, "Senior brother, we came here to congratulate you, not to disturb your wedding day. However, if senior brother wants me to do anything, you can tell me at any time." Lin Shuai froze for a moment before nodding his head lightly. What are you guys doing? Lin Shuai, prepare yourselves, the wedding ceremony is about to begin. The Qin clan was a prominent clan, they naturally had their own wedding ceremony. Lin Shuai nodded, only to see Chen Yi looking at Qin Wentian with an apologetic expression on her face. What kind of attitude is this? Chen Shui coldly spoke upon seeing Lin Shuai and Chen Yi leaving. She didn't bother to hide, allowing Qin Wentian and the rest to hear her words clearly. From today onwards, that man will be the son-in-law of the Qin clan. Maybe, he might even live in your clan in the future, becoming half a master. Hui Yan mocked. How dare he be so disrespectful to your brother-in-law? If it wasn't for giving face to little Yi, I would have asked my father to directly kick him out of the clan. Chen Shui icily spoke. Forget it, today is the wedding day, let's not spoil the mood. Hui Yan spoke in a hypocritical manner. The smile on his face was extremely fake. The conversation between the two of them was heard by Qin Wentian and the rest. The countenances of those from the battle sword sect were all extremely unsightly to behold. These two were treating Lin Shuai's sect as thin air. From this, one could very well imagine how much contempt these two had for Lin Shuai. We've all cultivated for so many years, why are all of you so easily angered? Today, no one is allowed to spoil the mood. The old ancestor of the battle sword sect spoke when he saw the unhappiness on the faces of those from the battle sword sect. In such an occasion, even if they had to lose some face, they couldn't spoil the wedding between Lin Shuai and Chen Yi. Let's all go and watch the ceremony. The old ancestor spoke again. Everyone walked towards the center of the Qin clan. The wedding ceremony of the Qin clan first required them to pay respects to the ancestors of the Qin clan before serving tea to the elders and greeting their siblings, as well as their brother-in-law. Although the elders of the Qin clan didn't approve of Chen Yi and Lin Shuai being together, since Chen Yi had already agreed to it, they wouldn't intentionally make things difficult for them. Even Chen Ao, who had a cold expression on his face, after Chen Yi and Lin Shuai greeted each other, he still brought out some gifts to express his congratulations. However, when it was Hui Yan and Chen Shui's turn, Lin Shuai and Chen Yi stood in front of them, preparing to bow. However, Chen Shui directly evaded, causing the gazes of everyone to land on her. I'm not worthy of such a bow. Chen Shui unhappily spoke. Chen Shui. Father Chen solemnly spoke. This daughter of his actually dared to cause trouble at this moment. Elder sis, if Lin Shuai and I did anything wrong, you can tell us. Little Yi will apologize to elder sis and brother-in-law first. Chen Yi bowed as she spoke. Little Yi, this has nothing to do with you. Chen Shui spoke. Little Yi, your elder sis isn't unhappy with you. I just feel that it's a pity. After all, you are so outstanding. Hui Yan sighed, but a smile still hung on his face. Although he didn't finish his sentence, it was undoubtedly a slap to Lin Shuai's face. This bastard. Sword Sovereign Ling Tian's countenance turned ashen when he saw his beloved disciple being purposely made things difficult for him. Yi Lingshuang's gaze was also extremely cold. She stared at Qin Wentian, who was beside her, as she transmitted her voice. Wentian, although senior brother Lin Shuai doesn't wish to borrow your fame to raise his own status, this person's cultivation base is only at the celestial phenomenon realm. Maybe, he is just relying on the power behind him to humiliate senior brother. Wentian, can you use a more gentle method to help senior brother? Under the precondition that you don't ruin the wedding ceremony. Sister Lingshuang. Qin Wentian transmitted his voice to her. Senior brother has his own pride. If senior brother is unwilling, I won't force my thoughts onto him. This is a sign of respect to senior brother. Also, I've already hinted to senior brother that as long as he agrees, I will naturally do something. Fine. Yi Lingshuang nodded her head lightly, hoping that senior brother Lin Shuai would be able to think things through. She didn't like to borrow Wentian's prestige, but Lin Shuai loved to use it to bully others. Huiyan's words caused Chen Yi to feel extremely unhappy when she heard it. She held on to Lin Shuai's hand, but she didn't even look at Chen Shui and Huiyan. She didn't bow, but directly walked past them and bowed to another elder sister. Huiyan's smile instantly froze on his face. Staring at the numerous gazes directed at him, Huiyan felt a chill in his heart. Was this a show of disrespect for him? Elder sister, look. A smile appeared on Qin Wentian's face when he saw Chen Yi's determination. He finally understood why his senior brother Lin Shuai was willing to throw away some face just to marry Chen Yi. Back then when he was together with Mo Qingqing, didn't he also encounter many objections? Chen Shui and Huiyan's lips twitched, but they were restrained by Papa Chen's gaze. After the ceremony, the guests all gave their blessings. After which, Papa Chen spoke, Chen Ao, Chen Shui, go and help them with the arrangements. Right. Chen Ao and the others nodded. After that, they walked towards a middle-aged man in green and bowed, Senior One, please take the seat of honor. How can I do that? The seats of honor should be reserved for those closest to me. The middle-aged man in green shook his head and smiled. Brother One, there's no need to be so polite. If you don't sit, who else can? Papa Chen personally stepped forward and bowed. This middle-aged man's status was extremely high, and he came from an extremely powerful clan that belonged to an immortal king power. There was an immortal king expert in his clan who lived not too far away and had some friendship with Papa Chen. This was why he came here to attend this banquet. Since this is the case, it would be impolite of me to refuse. The middle-aged man in green nodded. The middle-aged man in green sat at the seat of honor. Many people clasped their hands to greet him as they chatted with him. Chen Ao, Chen Shui and the others continued to arrange the seats of the guests. Qin Wentian and the others from the Battle Sword sect were completely ignored. Seeing that the seats were almost full, even the serving maids were seated at the very back. Only now did Chen Shui and Huiyan walk over. Huiyan smiled, everyone, my apologies. Before this, we didn't know that Lin Shuai also had a sect. Hence, we weren't able to prepare so many seats for the guests. Why don't you all take the seats at the very back? The people from the Battle Sword sect all had cold expressions on their faces. Yi Lingshuang coldly spoke, is this the Chen clan's way of etiquette? We didn't even invite you guys in the first place. You guys actually came here on your own accord. Could it be that you guys want to sit at the top with your status? Chen Shui impolitely spoke in a low voice. Do you guys know who Senior One is? He's an expert from an immortal king clan. Do you guys think that you are qualified to sit together with him? Lin Shuai stood on the ceremonial stage. There was no trace of a happy smile on his face. Today was his wedding day and he didn't really care about his face. However, he didn't expect that the people from the Chen clan would intentionally make things difficult for those from his sect. Chen Shui's words entered his ears without missing a single word. Ladies, if there aren't any seats, feel free to squeeze a little. A young man smiled as he glanced at the beauties from the Battle Sword sect. His tone contained hints of mockery. That young man also came from a powerful clan and hence, he didn't feel any taboo. That senior one kept staring at Qin Wentian in the direction of the Battle Sword sect. His eyes gleamed with sharpness as he asked Father Chen, what's the name of that handsome young man in white? They are from Lin Shuai's sect. That young man should be his junior apprentice brother, but he should have encountered some good fortune. His aura is extraordinary and his aura is retracted. However, the two beauties beside him seem to be at the Immortal Foundation realm. Father Chen spoke in a light voice. He didn't really care about a few Immortal Foundation experts. After all, there were many Immortal Foundation experts among the guests. Do you know his name? The green-robed middle-aged man asked. Before this, I heard Lin Shuai referring to him as junior apprentice brother Qin. Do you need me to ask him? Father Chen asked. Qin. The heart of the green-robed middle-aged man trembled. Seems like he was right. His Wen clan was an immortal king-ranked power in the Cloud Prefecture. How would a power of this level dare to ignore an existence like the immortal Qianbian Gate? In his Wen clan, there were many important characters of the immortal Qianbian Gate. Among them, there was an extremely important character named Qin Wentian. Seems like he had to inform the old ancestor to make a trip here. After all, he didn't have the qualifications to converse with such a character. Chapter 12:18. On the stage, Chen Yi held on to Lin Shuai's hand, smiling as she stared ahead. She exerted some force in her grip, tightly holding onto Lin Shuai's palm. She could feel Lin Shuai's embarrassment, and this was also her embarrassment. I really don't care about this wedding. Even if there are some unpleasantness, I won't mind. Chen Yi transmitted her voice to Lin Shuai. If you are unhappy, just show it. After this, we will leave. Even if you want to do something, you just need to follow your heart. This wedding should be given to you. It's just that marrying me would cause you to lose face in front of everyone. Lin Shuai sighed. I'm fine. Since I've already made my choice, I don't care about anything else. On the other hand, the people from your sect suffered some grievances. Also, from Huiyan's attitude, it seems like he isn't willing to let this matter rest. Chen Yi helplessly spoke. She also didn't expect that the people who humiliated Lin Shuai's sect would actually be her smiling brother-in-law and her elder sister Chen Shui. How can I bear to spoil our wedding? Lin Shuai sighed. His gaze turned in the direction of Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian instantly sensed it and turned to Lin Shuai. After that, he only saw his senior brother nodding lightly at him. Qin Wentian laughed. He then turned to Purgatory behind him. Since someone invited you, go and take a seat. Right. Purgatory nodded. After that, she walked in the direction of the young man who spoke earlier. This young man was a descendant of the Wan clan. His power in this region wasn't small. His name was Wan Jiansheng and he cultivated the sword Wuxia. When he saw Purgatory walking towards him, a look of joy involuntarily appeared on his face. He instantly stood up and offered a seat to her with a smile. Little miss, please take a seat. Purgatory didn't stand on ceremony and directly sat down. Qin Wentian smiled, let us sit at the back. Let's not disturb senior brother's wedding. When everyone saw that Qin Wentian had spoken, they naturally nodded. Even Sword Sovereign Ling Tian didn't have any objections. The group of them really walked to the back of the banquet hall and sat together with many maids. When Chen Shui and Huiyan saw this scene, expressions of mockery appeared on their faces. In the end, he still had some self-awareness. Those from the Battle Sword sect all sat down. Even the serving girls had looks of disdain on their faces. But because of their statuses, they didn't dare to speak carelessly. Their eyes were filled with disdain. Lin Shuai. Chen Yi glanced at Lin Shuai beside her. Leave it to junior apprentice brother Qin. Lin Shuai held on to Chen Yi's hand as he spoke. Chen Yi had a puzzled expression on her face. Leave it to junior apprentice brother Qin. Let's go toast. Lin Shuai no longer cared about the attitudes of the crowd. Originally, he didn't want his relationship with Chen Yi to be tainted by external impurities. He only wanted it to be simple and simple. However, it seemed that these impurities were everywhere. He didn't want to use Qin Wentian's identity to show off his strength, but because of this, others would look down on him and even humiliate him. In that case, he could only let junior brother Qin Wentian handle it. Of course, he believed that with Qin Wentian's current status and his experience in the immortal domain, he would definitely be able to handle the matter perfectly. All right. Hearing Lin Shuai's words, Chen Yi naturally didn't take it to heart. She walked towards the banquet with Lin Shuai and raised her cup to the green-robed middle-aged man. Lin Shuai, little E, this is Senior Wen. Father Chen intentionally introduced. Senior 1. Lin Shuai raised his cup in a manner that was neither servile nor overbearing. His words caused Father Chen to furrow his brows. This Lin Shuai didn't know how to read the situation. The person he personally introduced clearly had an extraordinary status, yet Lin Shuai merely greeted him in a casual manner. However, the green-robed middle-aged man didn't seem to mind. He directly stood up and smiled at Lin Shuai. Noble nephew, Lin Shuai's demeanor is extraordinary. I believe that in the future, you will have a bright future ahead of you. I hope that noble nephew and niece will be able to grow old together. Mr. Fong, there's no need to be so polite. Father Chen hurriedly spoke, indicating for the middle-aged man to sit down. However, the green-robed middle-aged man waved his hands. It's what I should do, it's what I should do. If noble nephew and niece are free in the future, you can come visit my Fong clan often. We will definitely treat you as esteemed guests. After speaking, he drained his cup in a single gulp, appearing extremely forthright. After that, he stared at Lin Shuai with interest, as though he admired Lin Shuai. This caused Lin Shuai and Chen Yi to feel somewhat puzzled. However, they didn't think too much about it and continued to toast to the guests. Chen Ao, Chen Shui and the others also accompanied them to toast to welcome the guests. After all, there were so many guests, their brothers and sisters naturally had to help out. However, as they walked, Hui Yan walked towards Qin Wentian and the others who were seated at the end of the line. He smiled, everyone, you all came from afar, I've truly wronged you all. It's just that this is how the prestigious clans of the Battle Sword sect are. Everything depends on one's status. The meaning behind his words was naturally that those from the Battle Sword sect who were seated at the end of the line had a lower status. Hence, it was only natural for them to behave in such a manner. Naturally, we won't. Yi Lingshuang coldly replied. There's no lack of snobbish people everywhere. If we take offense, wouldn't we be asking for a snub? In addition, it's fine if some snobbish people have the capital to do so. But they are clearly ant-like characters, yet they still think they are lofty existences. Do you really want to bother with such shameless blind people? Hui Yan's gaze froze, staring at the coldness in Yi Lingshuang's eyes. An expression of interest involuntarily appeared in his eyes as he smiled. This young miss probably hasn't seen much of the world and thinks that just being at the celestial phenomenon realm is already a lofty position. If you are still single, why don't you follow me to my clan to broaden your horizons? Maybe you might even have a chance to become a concubine of an immortal. We came from a small place and truly haven't seen much of the world. Hence, we have always maintained our humility. Unlike you, a mere celestial phenomenon ascendant like Wuxia, you are even more arrogant compared to immortal kings. Yi Lingshuang sarcastically spoke. When she was at the immortal Qianbian Gate, she had interacted with immortal kings before. All of them had warm smiles on their faces, exuding elegance and grace. How could she be so despicable? Immortal king. Hui Yan had a mocking smile on his face. Using such a method to elevate yourself? Aren't you being too vain? Such lofty existences, how could they even meet them? As he spoke, he poured the wine in his cup onto the ground and departed. How was he here to propose a toast? Son-in-law Hua is a direct descendant of the Hua clan and has a chance to inherit the position of clan leader in the future. His status is extraordinary, and since you guys are the seniors of his sect, comparing the two of you. A serving girl at the side spoke in a light voice. The serving girls all lowered their heads and giggled. These people were truly shameful. To think that I was actually looked down upon by a serving girl. Qin Wentian speechlessly smiled bitterly. On the other side, Wan Jianqing stared at Purgatory beside him. The more he looked at her, the more his heart stirred. Purgatory exuded an innate demonic sense of beauty, causing the heartbeats of people to quicken involuntarily. I wonder if this beauty has someone in mind. Wan Jianqing moved closer to Purgatory. His hand that was holding onto the wine cup moved towards Purgatory's arm. But at the instant his hand came into contact with Purgatory's arm, he screamed in shock. The wine cup directly fell to the ground as his arm trembled. Everyone turned their gazes over. Purgatory stared at Wang Jianqing and asked, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." Wang Jianqing frowned. Earlier at that instant, he felt a warm current flowing into his hand, causing him to feel some piercing pain. Everyone shifted their gazes away. Wang Jianqing continued to probe with his words, but Purgatory merely sat there coldly, as though she couldn't be bothered to waste her breath. But the more she acted this way, the more Wang Jianqing's heart itched. He coldly laughed in his heart. Someone from Lin Shuai's sect had such a despicable status. Although this woman was beautiful, how could she be mentioned in the same breath as him? Even if he wanted to marry this woman, it would be extremely easy. Yet, this woman actually didn't even bother to glance at him. When he thought of this, Wang Jianqing's heart stirred. When he stared at Purgatory's flawless face, his guts grew bigger. With a twist of his body, he actually pretended to fall over as he lunged towards Purgatory. However, there wasn't any panic in his eyes. He stared fixedly at Purgatory's ample bosom as his devil claws stretched out. Arg! A scream of misery rang out. Wang Jianqing naturally didn't manage to touch Purgatory. At the instant his devil claws stretched out, a terrifying heat current directly gushed into his body. Half of his body was instantly charred black as he screamed in agony. This scene shocked everyone so much that they stood up and turned their gazes over. Jianqing. A middle-aged expert from the leader's seat flashed over. When he saw Wang Jianqing's injuries and how one of his arms was crippled, his expression instantly turned ashen as he stared at Purgatory. Lowly slave. This expert couldn't care less that this was Lin Shuai's wedding. Huiyan and Chen Shui immediately flew over. Huiyan stared at Purgatory as he spoke, "How dare you act so viciously on the wedding day? As expected of a bunch of trash from a major power. Even if you are from Lin Shuai's sect, we won't spare you today." Many people had expressions of interest on their faces as they watched with interest. This was especially so for some Immortal Foundation experts. They could sense that Purgatory was also an immortal. Only to see that at this moment, Purgatory slowly stood up. Instantly, a terrifying immortal might gushed forth from her as a fiery heat enveloped the entire space. For a moment, Huiyan who was at the front was directly suffocated by the pressure as he perspired profusely. How powerful! At this moment, the eyes of many flashed with shock. The cultivation base of this woman was so high. Even the expressions of those Immortal Foundation experts changed as they all stood up in shock. Who did you guys say is a lowly slave? Purgatory's expression was as cold as ice. She stared at Huiyan and the middle-aged expert beside Wang Jianqing. Even that middle-aged expert felt a sense of pressure under Purgatory's pressure. One must know that his cultivation base was at the 6th level and the aura of this woman wasn't any weaker compared to him. Lin Shuai, Chen Yi and the others also arrived. Chen Yi's eyes flashed with shock, this woman was actually so powerful. Father Chen also arrived. The middle-aged expert beside Wang Jianqing had an ashen expression as he spoke, "Brother Chen, how does Brother Chen intend to deal with the fact that my son's arm was crippled during the wedding? This woman is too impudent, she actually dared to display her might in public." Huiyan's father also walked over, standing in front of Huiyan as he coldly stared at Purgatory. On the other side, Qin Wentian slowly put down the wine cup in his hand as he inclined his head. Chapter 12:19. Father Chen glanced at Purgatory before checking the injuries on Wang Jianqing's arms. Although they were destroyed by immortal energy, they could still be healed with precious immortal medicines. "Brother Wan, our Chen clan will do our best to treat the injuries of virtuous nephew." Father Chen spoke to Wang Jianqing's father. The Wan clan was equal to his Chen clan, he naturally couldn't afford to offend them. As for you. Father Chen stared at Purgatory with a look of surprise on his face. Before this, he already felt that this maiden's aura was extraordinary and there was a high possibility that she was an Immortal Foundation character. Seems like it was true now, and she was even stronger than he had expected. Lin Shuai's sect still had many geniuses that appeared. Their strength had already surpassed the elders of the sect. My Qin clan will treat his injuries. Miss, just apologize. Father Chen spoke. Brother Chen, is an apology enough? How would Wan Jianqing's father let this go so easily? What does Brother Wan want? Father Chen asked. This maiden is too arrogant. Hand her over to me and I will bring her back to the Wan clan. Wan Jianqing's father spoke. Father, it's already a grievance for little Yi to marry Lin Shuai. To think that someone from Lin Shuai's sect actually dares to be so arrogant. This is simply unforgivable. Hui Yan coldly spoke. The cultivation base of this maiden was actually so high. This made him extremely unhappy. Purgatory. At this moment, a voice drifted over. Everyone turned their heads only to see Qin Wentian, who was seated at the end of the row. Today is my senior brother's wedding. Don't spoil the mood. Qin Wentian spoke. Purgatory didn't say anything, she quietly walked back to Qin Wentian's side. Everyone stared at Qin Wentian, guessing who this man was exactly. It seemed that this maiden was more obedient to him. Senior brother, the elders of our sect and I came here today to sincerely congratulate you. It's just that there's actually someone who dares to say such disrespectful words to you on your wedding day. This is something I cannot tolerate. Qin Wentian stared at Lin Shuai as he spoke. After that, his gaze landed on Hui Yan. Earlier, you spoke rudely, and now you speak again. I want to ask you something. Your cultivation base isn't even comparable to my senior brother, so where did you get the courage to point your fingers here? And what identity do you have to speak here? I'm little Yi's brother-in-law. How dare you tell me what to do? Hui Yan was extremely unhappy when he saw the contempt in Qin Wentian's eyes. Since you're my brother-in-law, you should be of the same generation as my senior brother Lin, and your relationship should be equal. Even if your cultivation base is lower than his, what right do you have to talk so much? Qin Wentian said. He. Hui Yan sneered, the Chen clan is a prestigious clan, and so is my Hua clan. That's why I have a relationship with Qin Shui. But what does your sect count as? In that case, you came here with the identity of a member of the Hua clan. Bluntly speaking, you feel that you are a tier higher than others because of your background. In reality, you are nothing but trash. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. Since you're using the identity of a member of the Hua clan to point fingers at my senior brother's wedding day and even humiliate my senior brother's sect, calling my friend a lowly slave. The Hua clan should be very powerful, right? Truly a fellow who has never seen the world before. Someone mocked. The Hua clan is a peak power in this generation and has many Immortal Foundation experts. There are even quite a few who stand at the peak of Immortal Foundation. What do you think? Hui Yan had a cold smile on his face. His back was ramrod straight, as though he felt very honored. Brother Chen, shouldn't such a person be directly expelled? Wan Jianqing's father coldly spoke. How does the Chen clan treat their guests exactly? At this moment, another person spoke. Just when Father Chen was preparing to express his stance, the green-robed middle-aged man from the Fang clan walked over with a look of unhappiness on his face. Father Chen's heart trembled, he didn't expect that the people from Lin Shuai's sect would actually anger him. Most probably, it was because of that female who injured him. Seems like he could only expel the people from Lin Shuai's sect. You guys are truly laughable. Chen Ao stared at Qin Wentian and the others as he berated. Wan Jianqing's father and Huiyan's father both had smiles on their faces as they stared at the green-robed middle-aged man walking over to uphold justice. Brother Fong. The few of them bowed. These people are too arrogant, I didn't expect that Brother Fong would be alerted. Huiyan's father spoke. Uncle Fong, there's no need to trouble you with this matter. Huiyan bowed to the green-robed middle-aged man, extremely polite. Who's your uncle? All of a sudden, a cold voice drifted over. Huiyan froze as he inclined his head and stared at the green-robed middle-aged man. He only saw coldness flickering in the eyes of the middle-aged man as he icily spoke, as the son-in-law of the Qin clan, you actually dare to humiliate the people from Lin Shuai's sect in such a setting? Don't you feel that your status is too high and mighty? Brother Fong. Huiyan's father's mind spun, he completely couldn't understand why the green-robed middle-aged man would have such an attitude. This person came from an immortal king power and had a respectable status. However, he was humble and didn't put on airs. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have acted in such a manner. Hua Han, how can you teach your son like this? I thought you were someone worth befriending in the past. From today onwards, I, Fong, will sever all relations with your Hua clan. The green-robed middle-aged man spoke in a booming voice, his words causing everyone in the surroundings to be stunned. They had no idea what was going on exactly. What was going on exactly? Fong. Wan Jianqing's father, who was at the side, called out in a trembling voice. And you? Before Wan Jianqing finished speaking, the green-robed middle-aged man turned to him and spoke. Wan Jianqing publicly took liberties with someone from Lin Shuai's sect. Do you think we're blind? This small lesson is already considered a light punishment. You actually want the Qin clan to hand Wan Jianqing over to you? Do you think the Qin clan has the qualifications to capture someone from Lin Shuai's sect? Brother Fong, please calm your anger. Father Qin consoled. Brother Qin. The green-robed middle-aged man glanced at Father Qin. Father Qin relaxed when he heard that the way the middle-aged man addressed him didn't change. Qin Shui and Huiyan are too outrageous. If you encounter anything, don't protect the two of them. Moreover, today is the day of little Yi and nephew Lin Shuai's wedding, so it should be a joyous occasion. How can we allow these rascals to cause trouble on such a joyous occasion? The green-clothed middle-aged man lectured earnestly. Brother Fong is right. Father Qin hurriedly nodded. He suddenly recalled the attitude the middle-aged man had towards Lin Shuai. Noble nephew Lin Shuai. Also, earlier, this middle-aged man seemed to have inquired about Lin Shuai's junior brother. Could it be, Father Qin was naturally an intelligent man? When he thought of this, a light flashed through his mind. Could it be that this middle-aged man originated from some aristocratic clan? However, he didn't understand. If this was the case, why would he join such a weak sect like Lin Shuai? The Hua and Wan clans are too outrageous. In the future when we meet, just treat us as strangers. We no longer have any relationship with each other. The green-robed middle-aged man spoke in a cold tone. Qin Wentian sat there quietly as he watched everything unfold. Such a situation was something he didn't expect. Also, at this moment, that green-robed middle-aged man actually started walking towards him. Everyone naturally saw this as well. They stared at the green-robed middle-aged man who was walking step by step towards Qin Wentian. Lin Shuai, little Yi, come with me. Father Qin spoke and followed after him. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the figure before him. He didn't know who this person was. The middle-aged man was currently holding onto a wine cup as he stood before him. Before this, I, Fong, was still bewildered. I didn't know which character would have such a carefree demeanor until I suddenly recalled that I once had a chance to see young Lord Qin's portrait. Hence, I came here to propose a toast. I hope young Lord Qin won't blame me for being rude. As he spoke, under the shocked gazes of everyone, this green-robed middle-aged man who was so domineering when facing the major characters from the Hua and Wan clans, was now holding onto a wine cup with both hands as he respectfully leaned forward. His back was extremely low, as though he was looking down on Qin Wentian. Although Father Chen had already guessed that Qin Wentian might be a descendant of an aristocrat clan, he was still so shocked that he halted his steps when he saw this scene. This green-robed middle-aged man was named Feng Huai. He was from an Immortal King aristocrat clan and had an extraordinary status. Even if Qin Wentian was a descendant of an ordinary Immortal King aristocrat clan, he should be able to treat them the same way. But right now, his attitude was extremely humble. This didn't seem to be how one would treat an ordinary Immortal King aristocrat clan. Unless, Qin Wentian came from a power even stronger than the Feng clan. Not only that, his power was much stronger than the Feng clan. When he thought of this, Father Chen's heart trembled. This was an opportunity. But sadly, he had almost offended this young man to death. That bastard Hui Yan and Lin Shuai actually didn't mention this before. Hui Yan and the others were all stunned by this scene. When they saw the green-robed middle-aged man proposing a toast, just when they thought that Qin Wentian would stand up and return the toast, they discovered to their astonishment that Qin Wentian had no intentions of standing up at all. He only quietly stared at the green-robed middle-aged man, thinking that this man was truly an intelligent man. How could it be that he just found out about his identity? Clearly, he already knew about it long ago, but he didn't warn Father Chen, choosing to wait quietly until an opportunity to befriend him appeared. Only then did he unhesitatingly step out to express his goodwill. This green-robed middle-aged man naturally couldn't be considered a good person. Naturally, Qin Wentian didn't mind the intentions of this man. The appearance of this middle-aged man at this moment was indeed timely. Hence, a strange scene appeared. The descendant of an Immortal King aristocrat who was sitting at the head of the table, a lofty character, simply stood there with his wine cup in hand, not showing any signs of impatience at all. Yet, the young man quietly sat there, appearing extremely calm. Father Chen's heart pounded even more violently when he saw this scene. He simply didn't dare to continue guessing. Who exactly was this young man? Lin Shuai, who is your junior brother? Father Chen transmitted his voice to Lin Shuai. Lin Shuai glanced at him, silently sighing at the reality of human nature. He didn't want to borrow the prestige of his junior brother, but instead, he was treated with disdain and his sect was humiliated. However, even before Qin Wentian stated his identity, he, his father-in-law, was already feeling uneasy. At this moment, an incomparably terrifying aura suddenly gushed over. The crowd inclined their heads in shock, only to see a supreme silhouette descending from the sky. We pay our respects to the old ancestor. The green-robed middle-aged man's follower knelt on the ground as he respectfully called out, causing the hearts of everyone to tremble. The old ancestor of the Feng clan. An Immortal King expert has arrived. This old ancestor of the Feng clan who just arrived appeared to be extremely young. He directly landed beside the green-robed middle-aged man, his gaze landing on Qin Wentian as he clasped his hands. I'm Feng Mu of the Feng clan. I didn't expect that I would be able to witness young Lord Qin's glory here. It's truly an honor. As the sound of his voice rang out, it was like a thunderbolt from the clear skies. Everyone stood up in shock. Chapter 12:20. Feng Clan, Feng Mu. The ancestor of the Feng clan, an immortal king. In this region, the strongest clan was the Feng clan, the leader of an immortal king clan. A lofty immortal king, an existence that people could only look up to. At this moment, he personally stepped into the Chen clan. This was supposed to be the supreme glory of the Chen clan, but was the Chen clan truly glorious? At this moment, Papa Chen was only nervous. The ancestor of the Feng clan had personally arrived, but he wasn't here for the wedding, but for one person. And this person was the junior brother of his son-in-law, Lin Shuai. This junior brother was humiliated by his other son-in-law, Huyen, and many people rolled their eyes at him. This junior brother was supposed to be a distinguished guest, but his son-in-law and daughter arranged for him to sit in a corner with the maids, and he was mocked by others. This junior brother, the woman beside him was humiliated, and they were discussing how to capture him and send him to the Wan clan to be punished. How could Papa Chen not be nervous? Of course he was nervous. Not only was he nervous, he was also regretful, and he wanted to slap himself on the head. At this moment, if he still didn't understand that Qin Wentian was a disciple of a supreme clan, then there must be something wrong with his brain. He naturally wouldn't suspect that the ancestor of the Fang clan, Fang Mu, would make a mistake like this. How could an immortal king make such a mistake? This was as stupid as suspecting that an immortal would be killed by a mortal. When he saw the green-robed middle-aged man toasting Qin Wentian, he had already started to overestimate Qin Wentian's status. But evidently, he still underestimated him, and by a huge margin. An immortal king had personally come and addressed the young man as young Master Qin. He simply didn't dare to imagine what kind of status this young man had. People of such status were usually people he could only look up to. They were high above, and he couldn't afford to get close to them. But when this young man came to their clan to attend a banquet, they treated him like this. One could well imagine Papa Chen's current mood. Huyen, Chen Shui, Chen Ao, these bastards. Papa Chen cursed in his heart. My junior brother is from the Immortal Qianbian Gate. At this moment, Lin Shuai's voice traveled into Papa Chen's ears, replying to his words. At this moment, Papa Chen's heart violently twitched, and he sucked in a breath of cold air, feeling that his mind was a little muddled. So that was the case. No wonder, an immortal king faction. The Thousand Transformations Immortal sect was on equal footing with the Eastern Sage Immortal sect. They controlled 6 prefectures and had powerful immortal emperor-level existences. Wan Jianqing's father, Huyan's father, both of them were so frightened that their countenances turned pale. Earlier, they had actually offended Qin Wentian. They naturally understood what this meant. This meant that a single sentence from Qin Wentian could cause their entire clan to be annihilated from the Cloud Prefecture. Mu Clan of Mu. In Mu, the clan, Mu Clan, the Yun Mu, was, Chen, was, and Mu. King Mu, Yunyan Clan, Mu, and they, Mu, Chen, Mu, and clan, and king, had personally, clan, Mu, Chen, Shui, Mu, let alone them, even Lin Shuai's wife, Chen Yi, had her beautiful eyes frozen. Everyone stood up in shock. After that, they quietly stared ahead. The immortal king stood before Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian was still seated, as though he had no intentions of standing up. Senior Fang is too polite. Please take a seat. Qin Wentian smiled. Given his current status, there was no need for him to care about an ordinary immortal king. But after all, an immortal king had personally come to pay a visit. Although he might have some ulterior motives, he still had to be courteous. But even so, he didn't act too courteously and stood up to welcome the immortal king. He knew that there was no need for him to stand up. This immortal king clearly knew of his identity. In that case, he represented the Immortal Qianbian Gate. For a character who was known as the disciple of the Emperor Qianbian, why would he need to stand up and pay his respects to an ordinary immortal king of the Cloud Prefecture? Upon seeing Qin Wentian sitting there as though it was a matter of course, Fang Mu didn't have any strange expressions on his face. He actually sat opposite of Qin Wentian, causing the hearts of everyone to tremble. An immortal king didn't even stand up when he came. Who was this man exactly? At this moment, Father Chen was no longer able to remain calm. An immortal king actually sat at the end of the banquet? Was this even possible? Senior. Father Chen walked over and respectfully stood there. Senior, please move to the main seat. Since young Master Qin is here today, I came to pay a visit. I am merely accompanying him. Wherever young Master Qin sits, I will naturally sit there. Feng Mu calmly smiled. As an immortal king, there was no need for him to deliberately flatter Qin Wentian. However, his words were still extremely beautiful. There was no other reason. What sort of character was Qin Wentian? It was rumored that he was the disciple that the Emperor Qianbian valued the most. For him, Qin Wentian had even started a war with the Dongshengshan Gate. The Dongshengshan Gate had always wanted to kill him but failed to do so. For such an existence, regardless of how glorious his future would be, since his Fang clan was located in the Cloud Prefecture city and had a close relationship with the disciple of the Emperor Qianbian, it could be said that there were only benefits and no disadvantages for the Fang clan. If the Fang clan had some changes in the future, with the disciple of the Emperor Qianbian, who would dare to touch the Fang clan? If it wasn't for this, why would an immortal king like him personally come here? Father Chen's heart trembled even more. His gaze was complicated as he stared at Qin Wentian. His eyes were filled with deep regret as he spoke. Chen didn't know young Master Qin's identity. Before this, the people of my Qin clan have offended you. I hope that young Master Qin can forgive me and move to the main seat. Earlier, a certain someone said that our statuses are lowly, we should just sit here. I have no idea who he is or what power he came from. But since he arranged for me to sit here, I will naturally stay here quietly. After all, I'm only here to celebrate my senior brother's birthday and have no intention of causing trouble. Clan Lord Chen, just go ahead and attend to my senior brother's wedding, there's no need to care about me. Qin Wentian calmly spoke, without the slightest bit of arrogance. Just like what he said, he came here today to attend the wedding and not to cause trouble. But at this moment, everyone was staring at him, not daring to sit down. Father Chen felt even more uneasy. He turned his head and stared at Huiyan as he berated, Huiyan, why are you still not coming over? Go over. At this moment, Huiyan's father didn't even bother about Father Chen's attitude. At this moment, how would he dare to do so? How could his Hua clan afford to offend someone who could cause an immortal king to personally pay a visit? Not only for him, Wan Jianxing's father was also trembling with fear as he pulled his son Wan Jianxing towards Qin Wentian. My son is too rude. I, Huiyan, have eyes but fail to recognize Mount Tai. I hereby beg for forgiveness from young Lord Qin. Huiyan's father bowed. One couldn't help but say that their ability to change the direction of the wind was truly amazing. However, Huiyan clearly didn't have his father's comprehension. He was still struggling. Why are you still not apologizing to young Lord Qin? Huiyan's father berated. Huiyan still didn't speak, as though he was in extreme pain, struggling in his heart. I don't dare. Qin Wentian coldly laughed in his heart when he saw the expression on Huiyan's face. He calmly spoke, before this, my elder sister already said that even immortal kings aren't as arrogant as him. How can we afford to apologize to him? Before this, I also said that the reason why he dared to cause trouble at my senior brother's wedding was because of his identity as a member of the Hua clan. In that case, I will pay a visit to the Hua clan when I'm free. I want to see what the Hua clan of the Cloud Prefecture city is like exactly. Huiyan and his son instantly turned as pale as paper. This was especially so for Huiyan's father. These words were like a bolt from the blue to him. Given Qin Wentian's identity, what kind of situation would he be in if he paid a visit to the Hua clan? The Hua clan is truly an honor to be able to make young Lord Qin pay a visit. You guys still don't know young Lord Qin's identity, right? Back then, young Lord Qin obtained first place in the 100-year immortal banquet of the Dongshengshan Gate. The Emperor of Qianbian wanted to accept him as a disciple but was rejected. After that, young Lord Qin was brought away by the Emperor of Qianbian and established the immortal Qianbian Gate. There are rumors in the outside world that young Lord Qin is the beloved disciple of the Emperor of Qianbian. Plop. Huiyan's father directly knelt on the ground, both his legs were trembling. The beloved disciple of the Emperor of Qinbian. These words were like thunder to him. His son actually dared to humiliate the disciple of the Emperor of Qinbian. This was simply... Heavens, this was simply unimaginable. Kneel down. Huiyan's father roared. With a plop, Huiyan also knelt down. The last bit of pride he had was directly shattered. At this moment, his mind was in a complete mess. He actually dared to act so arrogantly in front of a disciple of a monarch. He was merely a member of a powerful Immortal Foundation clan, but in front of the Immortal Qinbian Gate, a power that ruled over 6 prefectures, he was simply an ant. Wan Jianqing's father and Wan Jianqing were so frightened that they knelt down as well. Their countenances were as pale as paper. At this moment, Father Chen was stunned as well. Immortal Qinbian Gate. Lin Shuai said that Qin Wentian came from the Immortal Qinbian Gate, but he didn't say that he was the disciple of the Emperor of Qinbian. The junior apprentice brother of his son-in-law was the disciple of the Emperor of Qinbian. Qin Wentian came to his home to attend his daughter's wedding and was actually humiliated, sitting at the very end. This. Father Chen's mind was completely numb. As for those serving girls who mocked him earlier, all of them were trembling in fear, not daring to raise their heads to look at Qin Wentian. Young Lord Qin, please forgive us. Father Chen lowered his head extremely low. Even Chen Yi was stunned. She stared at Lin Shuai. She basically didn't dare to imagine that Lin Shuai would have such a junior apprentice brother. Little Yi, I didn't intentionally hide this from you. Junior apprentice brother Qin is my junior apprentice brother from our particle world. Later on, he was able to reach where he is today because of his own talent. Our sect is already under his protection and protection. I don't wish to use the name of my junior apprentice brother to attract too much attention. Lin Shuai transmitted his voice to Chen Yi. Chen Yi slowly nodded her head, returning to her senses. She walked forward and spoke to Qin Wentian, young Lord Qin, if my father has done anything inappropriate, I hope you won't blame him. Sister-in-law, what are you saying? Qin Wentian hurriedly stood up. He could ignore these people, but since Chen Yi was here, he naturally had to stand up. Senior brother Lin Shuai doted on this junior apprentice brother of mine very much back then, treating him like an elder brother. His wife is also my kin. Sister-in-law, you can just call me Wentian. Qin Wentian's voice was gentle, his words causing the gazes of everyone to look at Chen Yi in a different light. The sister-in-law of the beloved disciple of the Emperor of Qinbian, this wasn't an ordinary status. Father Chen's heart pounded violently. In the future, the Chen clan would have to depend on Little Yi and Lin Shuai. In the future, he would definitely do his best to make up for the mistakes he made today. Chapter 12:21. Chen Yi could naturally feel a sense of closeness from Qin Wentian. Most probably, Lin Shuai and Qin Wentian had an extremely good relationship back then, which was why he treated her as his kin. If not, how could she be acquainted with such a character? Wentian. Chen Yi didn't act pretentious, she smiled and called out. Qin Wentian's smile grew even gentler. His gaze landed on Imo Qingqing who was beside him. Imo Qingqing walked up, causing the gazes of everyone to land on her. Right now, when they looked at Imo Qingqing again, they only felt that she was like a celestial maiden from the heavens, unreachable. She was Qin Wentian's woman. What was laughable was that earlier, there were actually many people who had the ridiculous thought that it was a pity for such a beauty to follow Qin Wentian. Sister Little Yi, this is a small token of our sincerity. Congratulations to you and senior brother. Mo Qingqing took out an interspatial ring and passed it to Chen Yi. Chen Yi started, she stared at Lin Shuai only to see Lin Shuai nodding his head lightly, since this is the sincerity of junior brother Qin and sister-in-law Qingqing, just accept it. Chen Yi nodded lightly, smiling sweetly at Mo Qingcheng as she spoke in a low voice, "Qingcheng, you are so beautiful. Sister Little E is the same as well." Mo Qingcheng smiled. Those from the battle sword sect all stood up. A moment later, Hui Yan, Wan Jiansheng and the others all retreated, kneeling at the side. Sword Sovereign Ling Tian, Yi Lingshuang and the others all felt that they had finally vented their anger. If it wasn't for Qin Wentian, they would have to endure this for a long time. "Lin Shuai, Little E, this is a token of our sincerity. Please accept it." Everyone presented their gifts. Lin Shuai bowed to them. "The gifts from the various elders, no matter what they are the most precious to me." If Lin Shuai said this before, he would surely be unhappy and even mocked. But now that he said it like this, no one dared to object. "Chen clan leader, those eyesores shouldn't appear here. This is my senior brother's wedding. Just tell these people to scram." Qin Wentian couldn't be bothered to be calculative with these people. These people weren't worthy at all. "Young Master Qin, please calm down. We will scram right away." Hui Yan's father knelt on the ground and hurriedly pulled Hui Yan and the rest away. Chen Shui's countenance stiffened, she didn't know if she should leave or not. Father Chen glanced at her and spoke, "You can scram with your husband." Chen Shui could feel the anger in her father's heart. It was no wonder that she and Hui Yan were the ones who had insulted Qin Wentian the most. Thinking back to how she had boasted and acted so arrogantly in front of Qin Wentian, she felt so ashamed that she couldn't show her face. She left with her tail between her legs. Lin Shuai was her brother-in-law, a close relative. Her brother-in-law's junior apprentice brother was the disciple of the Emperor Qinbian. Originally, she even had the opportunity to visit a legendary place like the Immortal Qinbian Gate. But now, she knew that it was impossible. Let alone Lin Shuai and his sect, even her father and her younger sister wouldn't want to see her again. Those who mocked Qin Wentian's sect and teased the beauties around Qin Wentian all left with their tails between their legs. Since they knew of Qin Wentian's identity, it was clear that he wasn't a celestial phenomenon ascendant. Given his cultivation base, how could he not remember what people said before? Now that he didn't want to bother with them, what else could they do other than scram? Some of the elders of the Chen clan also arrived. After knowing of Qin Wentian's identity, all of them were filled with respect. Their gazes were extremely sharp when they stared at Father Chen, evidently unhappy with him. "Young Master Qin, it's better for you to change seats." Father Chen still didn't dare to be the slightest bit casual. Qin Wentian treated Chen Yi well because of Lin Shuai. Although he was Chen Yi's father, his attitude towards Lin Shuai's sect earlier couldn't be considered friendly. Not only that, from how Qin Wentian addressed him as Chen clan lord, it was clear that Qin Wentian wasn't very happy with him. "No need, the seats don't matter. It's also not bad to chat with Senior Fong here. Chen clan lord, you can go ahead and do what you need to do. I've already said that I'm merely here to accompany the guests. I only hope that my senior brother and sister-in-law's wedding would be a happy one." Qin Wentian spoke. At this moment, Father Chen also understood Qin Wentian's attitude. He nodded his head. This time, he really put his heart and soul into arranging the wedding of Lin Shuai and Chen Yi. He was always by Qin Wentian's side and didn't dare to be casual with Lin Shuai anymore. He didn't even know who his father-in-law was anymore. Qin Wentian and Fang Mu were chatting idly. There were no maids around them, only a few elders of the Chen clan were accompanying them. At this moment, one of the elders raised his cup to Qin Wentian and drank a mouthful of wine. How would he dare to ask Qin Wentian to drink with him? "Young Master Qin, what do you think of the Chen clan's clan lord?" As soon as Qin Wentian said this, Father Chen, who had been paying attention to them, felt his heart tighten and his face turn slightly pale. The meaning behind Qin Wentian's words was extremely terrifying. As long as Qin Wentian said a word of dissatisfaction, his position as the clan lord would most likely come to an end. Although the Qin clan couldn't be compared to the immortal Qianbian Gate, it was still a distinguished clan. The ones who truly decided the position of the clan lord were the most powerful elders. Why are you asking me about the Qin clan? Qin Wentian frowned and said, as long as my senior brother and sister-in-law are happy, I naturally won't have any opinions. As soon as Qin Wentian said this, Father Qin immediately heaved a sigh of relief. As expected, Qin Wentian was doing this for little Yi's sake. His position as the clan lord would depend on Lin Shuai and little Yi's attitude in the future. Fortunately, little Yi was his daughter. No matter what, she would still be on his side. However, when he spoke to Lin Shuai, he became more and more polite. Naturally, there wouldn't be any twists and turns in this wedding. Everyone revolved around Lin Shuai and Chen Yi. Qin Wentian and the others couldn't get close to them, and the other party wouldn't come in contact with them either. They could only build a good relationship with Lin Shuai and Chen Yi. Therefore, they all showed the highest enthusiasm. Qin Wentian and the others naturally understood the reason for all this. Given their senior brother's personality, he definitely wouldn't care about such hypocritical enthusiasm. Most probably, after this wedding, he would bring Chen Yi away from the Qin clan. As an immortal king expert, Fang Mu was an extremely intelligent character. Although he was polite and enthusiastic, he didn't show any signs of flattery, nor did he make any requests. He merely wanted to build a better relationship with Qin Wentian. Fang Mu most probably also understood that it was enough for him to make Qin Wentian have a good impression of him and the Fang clan during their first meeting. If he made any requests, most probably, Qin Wentian would ignore him. Lin Shuai and Chen Yi also came to Qin Wentian's side and sat down. Fang Mu smiled at Lin Shuai, nephew Lin Shuai, this time around, I didn't prepare any gifts. Let me gift you a strand of protective immortal sense. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. A strand of immortal sense from an immortal king was extremely precious. This Fang Mu knew that it was useless to him, hence, he gifted it to Lin Shuai to do Lin Shuai a favor. This Fang Mu was truly intelligent. Lin Shuai naturally understood Fang Mu's thoughts. He resolutely shook his head, Senior Fang is too polite. How would Junior dare to accept a strand of immortal sense from Senior? Fang Mu naturally wouldn't ask for anything in return for gifting him a strand of immortal sense. But this favor would be placed on Qin Wentian. Lin Shuai naturally couldn't accept it. Fang Mu smiled and didn't reply. However, Qin Wentian spoke, since Senior Fang is so kind, senior brother, there's no need to stand on ceremony. If his senior brother wanted to go out for a walk, with the protection of an immortal king's strand of immortal sense, it was equivalent to having an extra life. But to him, this was merely a small favor. Fang Mu wouldn't ask him to do anything. At most, he would befriend Qin Wentian. Chen Yi glanced at Lin Shuai and Qin Wentian. From an emotional point of view, she naturally hoped that Lin Shuai would accept it. After all, the strand of immortal sense from an immortal king was something that no one in her Qin clan had such an opportunity. All right then. Lin Shuai smiled. There was no need for him to judge his junior brother Qin based on his own attitude. Given the status of Fang Mu and Qin Wentian, they naturally understood that the strand of immortal sense couldn't represent too much. Hence, under the envious gazes of many, Fang Mu left a strand of immortal sense on Lin Shuai. This wedding would eventually come to an end. Qin Wentian and the people of the Battle Sword sect bid their farewells. Lin Shuai and the experts of the Chen clan also sent them off. Senior brother Lin, sister-in-law, take care. Qin Wentian and the experts of the Battle Sword sect clasped their hands and spoke. Under the gazes of everyone, they soared up into the air. Staring at Qin Wentian's pet transforming into a great rock, the people of the Chen clan were no longer surprised. Lin Shuai and Chen Yi both felt a sense of melancholy. In life, no matter what kind of brothers or good friends they had, they still had to live their own lives. Separation was unavoidable. After this separation, it was unknown when they would meet again. In reality, things were just like what Qin Wentian had guessed. After staying in the Chen clan for several days, Lin Shuai and Chen Yi left to roam the world. Although the people of the Chen clan wanted them to stay, if Lin Shuai wanted to leave, who would dare to stop them? After Qin Wentian returned to the Immortal Qianbian Gate, he busied himself with transforming the bodies of his loved ones. He didn't hesitate to go to auctions, using treasures to exchange for some medicinal pills for his loved ones to refine their bodies, as well as using cultivation arts to temper their bodies, all in preparation for breaking through to Immortal Foundation. Time flowed by. Qin Wentian enjoyed this period of peace and quiet. Today, several immortal kings appeared in the Cloud Prefecture city. The Immortal Qianbian Gate instantly learned of this and kept a close eye on them. They discovered that these experts were actually heading straight for the Immortal Qianbian Gate. Outside the majestic ancient castle of the Immortal Qianbian Gate, a group of experts stood there calmly. From the Immortal Qianbian Gate, more and more experts appeared, staring at these newcomers. These experts all exuded a sharp aura, like unsheathed swords, not bothering to mask their sharpness. "Everyone, why did you all come to the Cloud Prefecture city?" An immortal king from the Immortal Qianbian Gate asked. "We are students from the Supreme Sword School and are here to pay a visit to the Emperor Qianbian." These people calmly replied. The hearts of the immortal kings trembled. Seems like the commotion caused by the Sacred Academy back then had finally caused the other party to make a move. Immortal kings directly appeared in the Cloud Prefecture city and came to the Immortal Qianbian Gate. "The Emperor Monarch is busy with his cultivation, I'm afraid he won't have the time." The Immortal Qianbian Gate replied. "Don't worry, we are willing to wait in the Immortal Qianbian Gate. When the Emperor Monarch is free to meet us, we will pay a visit again." The people from the Supreme Sword School laughed, as though they were long prepared.